Every day, emotions rise up like an unexpected storm, and without even realizing it, we can find ourselves swept away. Some days it's a surge of anger that ruins an entire afternoon. Other days, it's worry that casts a shadow over every smile or joy that starts to fade before we've even fully experienced it. Life throws plenty our way, and while we're all told to control ourselves, no one really explains how. When we're caught in the tide of emotions, it can feel like being tossed in a churning sea. We might say something we regret, hold on to a grudge that weighs us down, or let our worries turn simple problems into endless stress. And as the days pass, these emotions start to dictate more of what we do, how we think, and even how we see ourselves. But there's a way to live with balance, grace, and a calm that can't be shaken. And it starts with understanding that we aren't our emotions. They don't have to drive the ship. There's a solid ground to stand on, even when things feel overwhelming. And this is where life starts to change. Life has a funny way of presenting the same lesson over and over until we learn it. Those moments when anger rises up unexpectedly, or when insecurity quietly whispers doubts that keep us from going after what we want. All these instances test our resolve. The aim isn't to control every feeling or prevent any pain from reaching us. It's about reaching a point where emotions no longer decide our actions for us. There's strength in learning to step back, observe, and then choose how to respond. And this strength is not only possible, it's within reach for anyone willing to start. Think of the days that seem to flow with ease, when problems are just problems, not overwhelming barriers. In those moments, stress doesn't run the show, calmness does. Peace comes not from a lack of challenges, but from an ability to keep perspective no matter what. Imagine having that calm, unshakable presence, not as a rare occurrence, but as a regular part of life. Imagine emotions rising without taking control, passing like waves, but not determining the path. Now, this isn't just about feeling better or brushing negativity under the rug. It's about real freedom. It's a freedom that comes from knowing that you, not emotions, are making the choices. There are people who carry this calm even through the hardest times. They face the same frustrations, losses, and uncertainties as everyone else, yet they handle them with a resilience that seems almost effortless. How do they do it? They've learned that emotions, while powerful, don't define them. They've built an inner strength that doesn't crumble at the first sign of stress or pain. And here's the truth: they weren't born with this skill. It's not reserved for a select few. Anyone can cultivate it, and it starts with understanding a few simple ideas. First, emotions are natural. They're a part of being human, a part of our brain's way of responding to the world around us. It's not about pretending they don't exist or somehow shutting them off. Emotions are signals. They're there to give information, not commands. They can tell us when something is wrong, alert us to opportunities, or show us what we truly value. However, it's our interpretation and reaction to these emotions that shape our lives. And that's where our power lies, in the space between emotion and action. Think of that moment when anger stirs, or anxiety grips you before a big decision. In that split second, there's an opportunity, a small window of choice, to let it take over or to respond thoughtfully. This pause is where our power lies. It's where we reclaim control. This isn't about pretending or forcing ourselves to feel something different. It's about responding from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. The goal is not to be a stone, unfazed by life's ups and downs, but to be steady, able to meet each moment without being pushed around by it. There's a profound sense of relief that comes with knowing we don't have to react to everything that happens. We can acknowledge an emotion without being swallowed by it. We can feel frustration without letting it drive our words, experience fear without allowing it to paralyze us, and face disappointment without giving in to despair. The beauty of this approach is that it's freeing. It frees us from the roller coaster of emotional highs and lows, allowing us to live more fully, more intentionally, and with a clarity that changes everything. It's important to know that this way of living doesn't mean we won't face challenges. Life will still bring moments of anger, sadness, excitement, and fear, but we'll handle them differently. Instead of being a slave to reactions, we become more of an observer, learning to read each feeling without letting it dictate our choices. This takes practice, of course, but it's a skill that grows with time, and each day is an opportunity to build it. Imagine moving through life where emotions no longer feel like storms, but gentle waves. We can feel without drowning, observe without judgment, and choose without fear. This shift brings us closer to a grounded way of living, a sense of harmony where our internal world isn't swayed by every external change. We all know that peace isn't a destination. It's a practice, a way of showing up day after day, regardless of what happens around us. When we see emotions for what they are, passing signals rather than permanent realities, we create space for inner peace. And that peace is what gives us the strength to act from a place of purpose rather than reaction. Emotions will always arise, but instead of being a prisoner to them, we learn to let them flow without attachment. For many, this might sound difficult, almost like it's asking too much of human nature. But when we start with small steps, observing an emotion instead of immediately reacting, we find that it's not about resisting feelings, but understanding them. Each time we pause before reacting, we reclaim a piece of our freedom. We begin to realize that we are not our emotions. Our identity, our worth, and our potential aren't tied to what we feel at any given moment. And with each practice, we start building the life we truly want, a life where we act with intention, guided by values rather than impulses. This approach doesn't just help us feel better, it makes us stronger. Strength doesn't come from suppressing what we feel, but from handling emotions in a way that serves our well-being. It's about channeling that energy into growth, using every emotion as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Fear becomes a lesson in courage, anger a path to understanding, and sadness a reminder of what matters most. What would life be like if every setback was simply a stepping stone, or if every emotional wave passed without sweeping us away? We'd move through life lighter, more resilient, and at peace with ourselves. This is not a distant dream, but a choice we make every day. Every moment we choose calm over chaos and wisdom over impulse, we build that steady foundation. It becomes a habit, a strength that doesn't just change how we feel, but how we live. The beauty of this journey is that it's never too late to start. Every step toward understanding our emotions is a step toward freedom, a freedom that isn't about avoiding what we feel, but embracing life fully, without being held back by what's temporary. We learn to be present, to find clarity, and to meet life's highs and lows with a steady heart. In a world that often pushes us to react quickly, to feel deeply without balance, choosing a steady path is a revolutionary act. It's a choice to live with wisdom, to reclaim our calm, and to be fully alive without losing ourselves in the process. This is a journey worth taking because the rewards are beyond measure. They are peace, resilience, and a life that feels truly free. So, here we are at the start of a journey where emotions become a part of life, not the whole story. It's a path where we are no longer slaves to what we feel, but masters of how we live. And that's where the transformation begins. Here's a thought that will hit close to home. How often do we find ourselves tangled in the struggle to control every emotion that surges up inside? We fight to push anger back, to keep sadness away, to grasp at happiness. And when it slips, we hold on tighter, afraid it will vanish. Yet, despite our best efforts, emotions seem to have a mind of their own, slipping through our grasp the moment we think we've got a handle on them. It's exhausting and, strangely enough, doesn't seem to work. So why do we do it? Why do we try to control our emotions, believing that if we just try harder, we'll be able to stop pain or hold on to joy forever? Understanding this illusion of control is the first, and perhaps the most powerful, step toward freedom from emotional suffering. The truth is, our attempts to control emotions lead to the very suffering we're trying to avoid. When we understand why, we're free to take a wiser approach, focusing instead on what's within our reach, how we respond, how we perceive, and how we live in harmony with our inner world. The first thing to recognize is that emotions are, by nature, reactions to what's happening within and around us. They arise from thoughts, experiences, memories, expectations, and interactions. They come up, seemingly from nowhere, and they come in all forms: intense, subtle, short-lived, lingering. Emotions are like the weather. Just as we can't force sunshine on a rainy day, we can't simply force ourselves to be happy, calm, or motivated when we're feeling otherwise. Trying to control emotions is like trying to change the natural flow of a river with a bucket. The river will keep flowing, and our attempts to manipulate it with a small, temporary tool won't change its course. This doesn't mean we're powerless or at the mercy of our emotions. It means that instead of attempting to change emotions themselves, we can change how we respond to them. Imagine the peace that comes from realizing that while we may feel anger or sadness, these emotions don't have to dictate what we do next. When we stop trying to control them, they lose their grip on us. Emotions become less like handcuffs and more like signals, a valuable source of information that we can learn from without being overwhelmed. So, why does trying to control emotions lead to suffering? When we resist an emotion, our resistance often creates more tension. Suppose anger arises, and instead of acknowledging it, we try to stifle it, telling ourselves not to feel that way. That anger doesn't disappear. It builds up, suppressed like pressure in a closed bottle. Eventually, that pressure finds an outlet, often in ways that bring more harm than good. Similarly, when we try to hold on to happiness, fearing it will leave, we place so much pressure on that happiness that it becomes fragile, easily shattered by the slightest disturbance. It's as though the harder we try to hold an emotion in place, the more elusive it becomes. This resistance comes from a misunderstanding. We often think that feeling certain emotions, anger, fear, sadness, is wrong or harmful. But in truth, these emotions aren't inherently bad. They're signals, reflections of our inner and outer experiences, responses that our minds and bodies use to navigate the world. When we view emotions as bad or undesirable, we place ourselves in opposition to a natural part of life, and this opposition creates friction, tension, and suffering. It's not the emotion itself that brings pain, but the resistance we create around it. Now, if the goal isn't to control emotions, what is it? The answer is learning to observe them with a calm mind, focusing on managing our reactions rather than trying to manipulate the feelings themselves. Think of emotions as waves on the surface of an ocean. We don't have to fight each wave, nor do we have to be tossed about by them. Instead, we can learn to ride them, staying steady and grounded. This approach shifts our focus from control to acceptance, from resistance to observation. When we practice observing emotions, we create space between feeling and reaction. In this space, we gain clarity, the chance to decide how we want to respond. For example, if frustration arises, instead of immediately reacting with harsh words or tension, we can take a moment to notice the feeling. We recognize it as frustration, nothing more, nothing less. It's a moment to breathe, reflect, and choose. Rather than letting frustration take over and drive our actions, we're in the driver's seat. This skill of observing emotions requires practice, but it grows over time. One of the best ways to start is with mindful breathing. When a strong emotion arises, taking a few slow, deep breaths creates that pause, that essential gap. Breathing deeply shifts our attention from the emotion to the act of breathing, calming the body and the mind. In those moments, we're less likely to be carried away by what we feel and more able to respond thoughtfully. Over time, we come to see emotions as part of life's rhythm. They ebb and flow, come and go, but they don't define us. By letting go of the need to control, we find freedom in acceptance. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to suffering or passively allowing emotions to overwhelm us. Acceptance is an active process, a choice to recognize emotions without letting them dictate our actions. It's a courageous stance, facing what we feel without needing to alter or escape it. One profound benefit of this approach is that it frees us from the exhausting cycle of emotional highs and lows. When we let go of control, we no longer chase good emotions or push away bad ones. We experience each one without attaching our sense of peace or happiness to it. This creates a stable inner life, one that doesn't crumble when joy fades or when sadness arises. Emotions still flow, but they don't disrupt the foundation we've built within. This way of living also fosters resilience. When we're not entangled in the illusion of control, we become stronger, able to face challenges without being undone by them. Resilience is about being able to meet life as it is, without demanding that it conforms to our wishes. It's about standing firm in the midst of storms, knowing that emotions will come and go, but our peace doesn't depend on their presence or absence. This resilience is what allows us to live fully, to take risks, to love deeply, and to meet life's highs and lows with an open heart. To cultivate this resilience, practice is key. Start by noticing your reactions throughout the day. Pay attention to moments when you feel the urge to control, whether it's trying to force yourself to feel happy or struggling to stop feeling anxious. In those moments, remind yourself that the goal isn't to control the feeling, but to respond wisely. Let yourself feel without acting on impulse. Over time, this practice builds inner strength, creating a peaceful center that emotions can't easily disturb. There's a powerful release in knowing that emotions don't have to define our lives. We can experience anger without becoming angry people. We can feel sadness without being consumed by sorrow. This understanding gives us freedom. When we stop trying to control emotions, we're free to experience them fully, learning from each one. Instead of fighting against the tide, we flow with it, grounded in our own stability. The path to managing reactions rather than controlling emotions is not always easy. It requires patience, courage, and a willingness to face what arises within us. But each step brings us closer to a life where we are no longer at the mercy of fleeting feelings. We cultivate a steady, enduring peace that carries us through even the most challenging times. And with this peace comes a profound sense of freedom. The freedom to live authentically, to act from a place of wisdom rather than impulse, to navigate life's waves with confidence and grace. Ultimately, the journey is about reclaiming our inner power, not by force, but by understanding. Emotions are not obstacles to overcome or enemies to defeat. They're part of our humanity, rich with insight and meaning. By understanding this, we live with more compassion, more strength, and a deep, unwavering calm. And that, in itself, is a kind of quiet victory. A victory that doesn't need applause or fanfare, but one that transforms every part of our lives. Emotional mastery doesn't end with understanding the illusion of control. It moves further into how we relate to emotions as they arise. This journey deepens when we learn to step back from emotional storms, not by resisting them, but by observing them with a clear, steady mind. Consider the feeling of clarity and control that comes from watching your emotions with calm detachment. Rather than letting them pull you along, you learn to notice them as if from a distance, free from their grip. This practice of detachment allows you to see emotions as temporary visitors rather than powerful forces, a shift that brings freedom and resilience. To practice detachment, first recognize that emotions are experiences within you, not facts about the world around you. Emotions are like stories we tell ourselves, interpretations shaped by memories, fears, and desires. A single situation can bring up completely different reactions in two people simply because of how they perceive it. Realizing this lets you take a step back and see emotions for what they are, reactions, not realities. Instead of immediately believing the story emotions tell, you can view them from a distance. This distance is where detachment begins, providing a space where you can decide whether or not the emotion deserves your full attention. Detachment, however, is not about becoming numb or indifferent. It's about holding emotions lightly, understanding that they are not as permanent as they seem. When anger or sadness arises, it feels all-consuming in the moment. Detachment reminds us that emotions are passing states, waves that rise and fall. The skill lies in allowing them to be there without clinging to them. A detective observes without getting involved. Similarly, you can observe anger or fear as if studying it, noticing the thoughts and physical sensations that accompany it. This act of noticing creates room for calmness, a powerful antidote to being overwhelmed. Building the habit of detachment takes practice. Start by noticing the sensations that accompany each emotion. When anxiety arises, for instance, pay attention to your heartbeat, your breath, the tension in your muscles. By focusing on these physical sensations, you shift your attention from the intensity of the emotion itself to its impact on your body. This simple shift can prevent emotions from spiraling out of control, bringing you back to the present moment, where you have the power to choose your response. Noticing physical sensations serves as an anchor, grounding you when emotions feel intense. One of the most effective ways to detach is through mindfulness. This involves watching emotions arise without labeling them as good or bad. Emotions like sadness or anger often come with judgments. We think sadness is undesirable or anger is dangerous. But when you observe emotions without judgment, they lose much of their power. Instead of thinking, "I shouldn't feel this way," you acknowledge the feeling without self-criticism. This practice lets emotions come and go naturally, without the resistance that often magnifies them. Each time you practice detachment, you reinforce a calm presence within yourself. Over time, this presence becomes a strong foundation that emotions cannot easily shake. Think of detachment as a way to cultivate an inner observer, a part of you that watches with interest but remains unperturbed. This observer is not uncaring or indifferent. It is deeply aware but free from the need to control. This awareness lets you engage with life fully without being swayed by every emotional wave. By observing emotions like a detective, you become less reactive and more resilient. To deepen detachment, work on challenging the stories that emotions tell you. Emotions often carry assumptions. Fear tells us we're in danger. Sadness says things are hopeless. Anger declares that something is wrong. But when we look closely, these stories are rarely absolute truths. Fear can arise even when there is no real threat. Sadness can come from assumptions about the future. Challenge these narratives by asking questions. Is this fear based on reality, or is it a reaction to uncertainty? Is this anger truly justified, or is it arising from unmet expectations? By questioning emotions, you loosen their grip, separating reality from reaction. Another key part of detachment is remembering that you are not your emotions. When sadness or anger arises, it feels like part of you, as if your entire identity is wrapped up in that emotion. But detachment reminds you that emotions are experiences within you, not reflections of who you are. Just because you feel anger doesn't mean you are an angry person. Just because sadness comes doesn't mean you are a sad person. This realization is incredibly freeing. When you see emotions as visitors, you stop identifying with them, giving yourself the space to choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. In moments of strong emotion, practice observing without getting involved. This may feel difficult at first, especially with intense emotions like frustration or jealousy. But each time you watch without reacting, you build a habit of detachment. This habit gradually becomes a natural way of interacting with emotions. Rather than being swept away, you learn to stand as a silent witness, noticing what arises without letting it control you. The more you practice, the more your ability to remain steady in the face of emotions grows. One of the biggest benefits of detachment is that it frees up mental energy. When you're constantly reacting to every feeling, life feels chaotic and overwhelming. Emotions drain your focus and energy, making it difficult to stay centered. Detachment conserves this energy, allowing you to use it for things that truly matter. By not engaging with every fleeting feeling, you keep your mind clear and focused, grounded in what is important rather than what is immediate. This clarity helps you make better decisions, respond with wisdom, and approach life's challenges with resilience. Detachment also fosters compassion, both for yourself and others. When you observe emotions without judgment, you become kinder toward your own struggles. You understand that emotions are part of the human experience, not failures or weaknesses. This compassion extends to others as well. By recognizing that everyone experiences emotional turmoil, you approach people with empathy, realizing that their reactions are often shaped by their own emotional struggles. This understanding creates deeper, more harmonious relationships, free from judgment and filled with patience. In moments of conflict, detachment allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than defensively. When someone criticizes you or says something hurtful, the immediate reaction is often to feel attacked. But through detachment, you learn to take a step back, observing your reaction without letting it control you. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, you respond with calmness, perhaps even empathy. Detachment prevents minor issues from escalating into major conflicts, fostering harmony and reducing stress. Over time, detachment brings a sense of inner peace. By observing emotions rather than being entangled in them, you cultivate a calmness that doesn't depend on circumstances. This peace isn't the absence of emotion, but a stability within it. Life will still bring challenges, surprises, and changes, but they no longer disturb your inner calm. You carry this peace with you, a quiet strength that enables you to face anything that arises. And with this peace comes freedom, a freedom to live fully, unburdened by the ups and downs of emotional turbulence. Detachment also helps in making wiser choices. When emotions no longer cloud your judgment, you see situations with clarity. Decisions are based on what aligns with your values and goals, rather than on temporary feelings. This clarity leads to actions that are purposeful and fulfilling, building a life rooted in stability rather than reactivity. With detachment, each decision is an opportunity to align with your true self, rather than with the fleeting whims of emotion. This practice of detachment also transforms how you experience happiness and joy. Instead of clinging to positive emotions out of fear that they will disappear, you enjoy them fully, knowing that they too are part of life's natural flow. Joy becomes less about holding on to a moment and more about fully experiencing it, free from the anxiety of loss. This approach brings a richer, more sustainable sense of well-being, one that doesn't depend on constant happiness, but on an appreciation for all emotions as they come and go. The journey of detachment is one of liberation, a path to an inner calm that isn't shaken by the storms of life. By observing emotions like a detective, you cultivate a steady heart and a clear mind, qualities that guide you through both the ordinary and the extraordinary. This practice doesn't remove emotions from life, but transforms your relationship with them, creating a life that is free, resilient, and at peace. In detachment, we find not only the strength to face life's challenges, but the freedom to live fully, grounded in clarity and guided by wisdom. Detachment from emotional turmoil helps us observe feelings with clarity, but to sustain peace of mind, the way we perceive and interpret situations also requires thoughtful attention. Every day, challenges appear, some expected, others surprising, and it's natural to interpret these events with worry, frustration, or disappointment. Yet how we frame these events can make all the difference between inner turmoil and lasting peace. By learning to reframe situations, we transform how they affect us, replacing feelings of helplessness with a steady sense of control. This process, often called cognitive restructuring, allows us to consciously reshape our perspectives. Instead of defaulting to worst-case scenarios, we can train our minds to view challenges with optimism, understanding that situations themselves are neutral. It's our interpretation that gives them weight. When we learn to change how we think about situations, we gain peace of mind, even in the face of unexpected or difficult events. Reframing isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing a broader perspective that frees us from the grip of negative thinking. At the heart of reframing is the realization that thoughts are not always accurate reflections of reality. Many times we view events through the lens of past experiences, fears, or assumptions. For instance, an unexpected criticism might trigger feelings of failure, or a setback may lead to self-doubt. But when we look closer, we see that our response is not to the situation itself, but to the story we're telling ourselves about it. Recognizing this distinction is powerful. It gives us the freedom to question our initial reactions and choose more constructive interpretations. One effective approach to reframing is to consider alternative explanations. When faced with a situation that seems overwhelmingly negative, ask what else might be true. If someone is distant, it's easy to assume they are upset with us, but there could be countless reasons for their behavior. By considering multiple explanations, we prevent our minds from jumping to conclusions. This practice helps us view situations from a place of curiosity rather than judgment, opening our minds to perspectives that bring calm instead of stress. Reframing also involves shifting from catastrophic thinking to balanced, realistic assessments. Catastrophic thinking is a common reaction, especially when faced with unexpected problems. It's the tendency to focus on worst-case outcomes, often blowing small issues out of proportion. For example, missing a deadline might lead to fears of career failure, or an argument could feel like the end of a relationship. But these extreme thoughts rarely reflect reality. By actively questioning and challenging them, we return to a more balanced perspective, allowing us to see the situation clearly without exaggerating its impact. Another valuable part of reframing is focusing on what can be learned from each situation. Challenges often feel negative because they disrupt our plans or expectations. But within every difficulty lies an opportunity to grow, to learn something valuable. By shifting attention from what went wrong to what can be gained, we turn setbacks into lessons. This doesn't remove the difficulty, but it transforms our experience of it. Instead of feeling defeated, we feel empowered, viewing each challenge as a stepping stone rather than a barrier. A powerful tool in reframing is self-compassion. Often, negative situations trigger harsh self-criticism, a tendency to blame ourselves or feel inadequate. But when we treat ourselves with kindness, we reduce the weight of negativity. Self-compassion means acknowledging that we, like everyone else, face difficulties. Instead of viewing challenges as personal failures, we see them as part of the shared human experience. This mindset not only softens our response to setbacks, but also builds resilience, helping us recover and move forward with confidence. Reframing also teaches us the value of patience. When faced with a difficult situation, the impulse is often to seek immediate answers or solutions. But sometimes, time and distance are the best tools for gaining clarity. By allowing ourselves to pause, to step back, we create space for insight to emerge. Patience gives us room to see things from a broader perspective, free from the urgency that often clouds our judgment. This practice brings peace by teaching us that not everything requires an instant solution. Some answers unfold naturally over time. One practical technique for reframing is to look for the silver lining in each situation. This doesn't mean ignoring the negative aspects, but rather acknowledging the positive elements that coexist with them. Even in challenging moments, there are often hidden benefits, a new lesson, an unexpected insight, a chance to strengthen resilience. By actively seeking out these positive aspects, we shift our focus from loss to gain, fostering a mindset that sees value in every experience. Reframing negative situations also involves letting go of perfectionism. Often, distress arises from unrealistic expectations we set for ourselves or others. When things don't go as planned, we may feel disappointed or frustrated, seeing the situation as a failure. But perfection is an illusion, an unattainable standard that only leads to disappointment. By embracing imperfection, we free ourselves from this rigid expectation, learning to accept situations as they are, rather than as we wish them to be. This shift in perspective fosters a sense of peace, allowing us to move forward without the weight of unrealistic standards. Gratitude plays a central role in reframing as well. Even in difficult situations, there are things to be grateful for: support from loved ones, lessons learned, the strength to overcome challenges. By focusing on gratitude, we build resilience, reminding ourselves that no situation is entirely negative. Gratitude helps us stay grounded, countering the effects of negativity by bringing attention to the positive elements in our lives. This shift doesn't deny hardship. It simply balances it with an awareness of the good that still exists, creating a perspective that is both realistic and hopeful. Reframing also invites us to focus on what we can control rather than what we cannot. Many situations are distressing because they involve elements beyond our control: a job loss, an illness, someone else's behavior. But by directing our attention to what we can influence, our reactions, our choices, our outlook, we regain a sense of agency. This focus on what's within our control gives us strength and peace, allowing us to navigate challenges with confidence rather than frustration. It's a reminder that while we may not control external events, we do control our inner world. Another key aspect of reframing is finding meaning in adversity. Often, the most challenging situations lead to the greatest growth, shaping us in ways we couldn't have predicted. By looking for the deeper meaning in each experience, we transform difficulties into sources of wisdom. This shift doesn't eliminate the pain of hardship, but it gives it purpose, helping us see challenges as part of a larger journey rather than isolated struggles. Finding meaning in adversity fosters resilience, providing a sense of direction and purpose even in the darkest times. When reframing negative situations, it's also helpful to focus on solutions rather than problems. When we dwell on the problem itself, we become stuck in negativity, feeling overwhelmed and helpless. But by shifting attention to possible solutions, we regain control, actively working toward a positive outcome. This approach keeps us forward-focused, encouraging us to take constructive steps rather than feeling defeated by circumstances. Solutions-oriented thinking empowers us, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Reframing is about cultivating an optimistic outlook. Optimism doesn't mean denying difficulties or expecting everything to go perfectly. It means believing in the possibility of positive outcomes, even in challenging situations. Optimism encourages us to stay hopeful, to believe that things can improve and that setbacks are temporary. This mindset fosters peace, helping us navigate life's ups and downs with a steady heart and a resilient spirit. Optimism, combined with a balanced perspective, creates a foundation of peace that sustains us through all of life's uncertainties. As we develop these reframing skills, we build a lasting inner peace, a calm that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Challenges will still arise, but they no longer disrupt our sense of well-being. We face each situation with clarity, resilience, and an unshakable peace of mind. Reframing transforms how we experience life, allowing us to live fully, guided by wisdom and strengthened by hope. This practice is a journey of inner freedom, a way to live with courage and peace, unburdened by the weight of negativity. As we deepen our ability to reframe negative situations, the journey naturally leads to a powerful companion on this path: self-awareness. To truly master our thoughts and emotions, understanding ourselves becomes essential. Self-awareness is more than just noticing our emotions or recognizing patterns. It's a focused, ongoing exploration of the inner landscape where our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors arise. This insight becomes a key that unlocks the reasons behind our reactions, the roots of our triggers, and the unseen forces that shape our daily choices. Developing self-awareness is like adjusting the lens through which we see ourselves, bringing clarity where once there was only assumption. To begin with self-awareness, start by observing your emotions as they arise, paying attention to what triggers them. Often, these triggers are subtle: a phrase, a glance, a change in tone, but they reveal powerful insights into our deepest sensitivities. By observing these triggers, we begin to recognize the patterns that cause us to react impulsively. Perhaps a simple question from a friend provokes irritation, or a minor setback triggers self-doubt. Noticing these responses gives us clues about what lies beneath the surface. Are these reactions rooted in past experiences? Are they responses to personal insecurities? Identifying the origins of these triggers helps us understand the thoughts fueling them, illuminating our internal world in ways that can transform our emotional responses. A vital part of self-awareness is understanding our beliefs, as they shape how we perceive situations and influence our emotions. These beliefs often operate silently, yet they form the foundation of our reactions. For example, if we hold a belief that we must always succeed, any small setback can trigger anxiety or frustration. Recognizing these underlying beliefs helps us question whether they serve us or create unnecessary stress. By examining and challenging these beliefs, we empower ourselves to make choices that align with our well-being rather than being driven by rigid expectations. Self-awareness, in this way, becomes a practice of dismantling the automatic beliefs that may be leading us toward unhappiness. Self-awareness also reveals unhelpful patterns in our behavior. These patterns are often so ingrained that we don't realize they're there, silently guiding our actions and reactions. For instance, A tendency to avoid conflict might prevent us from addressing important issues, while a pattern of overthinking may cause stress over small decisions. By identifying these habits, we gain the freedom to choose responses that better serve our intentions. Instead of being trapped in familiar cycles, we begin to create new ones rooted in clarity and purpose rather than habit or fear. Developing self-awareness also means embracing vulnerability, as this journey can sometimes reveal uncomfortable truths about ourselves. Perhaps we notice a tendency to judge others harshly, or we uncover insecurities that we've hidden even from ourselves. But these discoveries, though challenging, are essential for growth. By acknowledging these aspects without judgment, we accept ourselves fully, moving away from self-criticism and towards self-understanding. Embracing these truths allows us to respond to life authentically, free from the need to mask our vulnerabilities. In doing so, we build an inner foundation that is strong, resilient, and grounded in acceptance. Another important aspect of self-awareness is recognizing how we communicate with ourselves. Often, the language we use in our own minds is harsh or critical, reinforcing negative beliefs. This inner dialogue shapes our perception of ourselves and our ability to handle challenges. By practicing self-observation, we notice these patterns and can begin to replace them with gentler, more constructive language. Instead of berating ourselves for a mistake, we approach it with kindness, asking what we can learn. This shift in self-communication not only boosts self-esteem, but also builds a compassionate approach that fosters growth rather than discouragement. Self-awareness also involves noticing how we seek validation, whether from others or from external achievements. Often, we unknowingly place our self-worth in the hands of others, feeling confident only when we receive praise or approval. This reliance on external validation creates a dependency that can lead to self-doubt when praise is absent. By recognizing this tendency, we reclaim our sense of self-worth, no longer depending on others' opinions to feel secure. This awareness helps us nurture a steady confidence that isn't shaken by outside influences, allowing us to approach life from a place of inner security. Practicing self-awareness enhances our ability to live in the present moment, as it encourages us to be mindful of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions in real time. This awareness of the present prevents us from dwelling on past regrets or anxieties about the future, grounding us in the here and now. In this space, we find clarity, allowing us to make decisions based on current realities rather than past experiences or future fears. Living in the present brings peace, as we learn to let go of what we can't control and focus instead on what we can influence in the moment. Self-awareness also empowers us to take responsibility for our actions. By observing our reactions, we see how they impact our relationships, work, and personal well-being. This understanding encourages us to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, creating positive outcomes instead of conflict or regret. Taking responsibility for our actions fosters maturity, helping us grow into individuals who navigate life with wisdom rather than reactivity. This shift toward accountability also strengthens our relationships as we communicate openly and respectfully, enhancing understanding and reducing misunderstandings. A key element of self-awareness is recognizing how our environments influence us. From the people we spend time with to the media we consume, our surroundings shape our thoughts and feelings. By observing how different environments affect us, we gain control over our mental and emotional states. If certain situations or people consistently trigger negative emotions, self-awareness allows us to create boundaries that protect our well-being. This doesn't mean avoiding challenges, but rather making intentional choices that support our mental health, enabling us to thrive rather than merely cope. Another transformative aspect of self-awareness is recognizing our emotional boundaries. Often, we unconsciously absorb others' emotions, letting their moods or opinions affect our own sense of peace. Through self-awareness, we learn to separate our emotions from those around us, maintaining inner calm regardless of external influences. This ability to maintain emotional boundaries strengthens our resilience, allowing us to offer support without becoming overwhelmed by others' challenges. It fosters a stable sense of self, grounded in our own values and perspectives rather than swayed by others' emotional states. Self-awareness also helps us recognize when we need rest, reflection, or time for self-care. Often, we push ourselves to keep going, ignoring signs of fatigue or stress. This lack of self-awareness leads to burnout and exhaustion, affecting our physical and mental well-being. By tuning into our needs, we can prioritize self-care without guilt, understanding that rest is essential for sustained growth. Listening to our bodies and minds allows us to maintain energy and focus, supporting a balanced and fulfilling life. Developing self-awareness ultimately brings us closer to a sense of purpose, as it reveals what truly matters to us. By understanding our values, goals, and desires, we align our actions with our deepest intentions. This alignment creates a life that feels meaningful, one that reflects our authentic selves rather than societal expectations or external pressures. Living with purpose brings joy, resilience, and fulfillment, allowing us to move through life with clarity and confidence. Self-awareness in this way becomes the foundation for a purposeful and intentional life. In cultivating self-awareness, we also cultivate gratitude as we become attuned to the positive aspects of our experiences. By noticing the small moments of joy, kindness, and growth in our daily lives, we develop a mindset of appreciation. This gratitude not only enhances our emotional well-being, but also strengthens our resilience, helping us navigate challenges with a balanced perspective. Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what we have, creating a sense of abundance that fosters peace and contentment. Through self-awareness, we also learn to embrace change, recognizing it as a natural part of growth. By observing our reactions to change, we see where resistance arises and how it impacts our peace of mind. Instead of fearing change, self-awareness allows us to approach it with curiosity, seeing it as an opportunity for growth rather than a threat. This openness to change builds flexibility and adaptability, qualities that enhance our resilience and help us thrive in an ever-evolving world. As we continue this journey of self-awareness, we develop an unshakable inner strength. This strength doesn't come from controlling every thought or emotion, but from understanding them deeply, responding to them with wisdom rather than reactivity. With self-awareness, we become our own guide, navigating life with a steady heart and a clear mind. This journey transforms our relationship with ourselves, fostering peace, resilience, and a life lived with intention and purpose. Building self-awareness strengthens our understanding of inner triggers and patterns, empowering us to live more fully aligned with our true selves. The next step in this journey is learning to remain steady in the face of others' judgments or exclusions. Too often, our peace of mind wavers because we give too much weight to how others view us. Practicing rational indifference is the skill of remaining unfazed by opinions and focusing instead on self-validation. This approach frees us from the grip of external judgment, allowing us to live with a steady sense of self-worth that isn't dictated by others. Rational indifference begins with the understanding that everyone interprets the world, including us, through their own filters, shaped by beliefs, experiences, and emotions. When someone offers an opinion, positive or negative, It says more about them than it does about us. Recognizing this can be liberating, as it shifts our focus from pleasing others to understanding ourselves. By letting go of the need for approval, we no longer feel pressured to conform, giving us the freedom to make choices that genuinely reflect our values and desires. This practice also involves detaching from the idea that social acceptance equals personal worth. Human nature often seeks belonging, but when our self-esteem depends on others' approval, we become vulnerable to rejection, exclusion, or criticism. Rational indifference allows us to break free from this dependency, seeing our worth as independent of social validation. This doesn't mean we isolate ourselves or reject others' views entirely. It means we stop equating their acceptance with our self-value. Instead of relying on external validation, we cultivate an internal sense of worth, one that is steady and grounded. One way to foster rational indifference is by developing internal standards for validation. Rather than measuring success by others' praise or criticism, we define our own criteria based on personal growth, integrity, and effort. When we base our self-worth on these internal standards, we gain a stable foundation that others' opinions can't easily shake. This approach strengthens confidence, allowing us to approach life's challenges without fear of judgment. By measuring ourselves against our own values rather than others' expectations, we find peace in knowing that we're aligned with what truly matters to us. Practicing rational indifference also involves recognizing that people's opinions are fleeting. One day, someone may praise us. The next, they may criticize us for the same action. Opinions shift with mood, experience, and circumstance. Realizing this helps us detach from the need to constantly please others, as their views are inherently unstable. By choosing not to react to every changing opinion, we save energy, focusing instead on what brings true fulfillment. This doesn't mean we ignore feedback, but rather that we filter it through our own values, accepting only what resonates with our personal growth. Another key aspect of rational indifference is learning to handle rejection with resilience. Rejection can feel painful, often triggering feelings of unworthiness or insecurity. But rejection itself is not a reflection of our value. It's a natural part of life, shaped by others' preferences, circumstances, or biases. By practicing rational indifference, we learn to view rejection as a neutral event, one that doesn't diminish our worth. This approach empowers us to pursue our goals with courage, knowing that others' acceptance or rejection doesn't define our potential. Each rejection becomes an opportunity to strengthen our self-confidence, reminding us that we are complete, regardless of external validation. Developing rational indifference also involves practicing compassion toward ourselves. Often, the fear of others' opinions arises from a tendency to judge ourselves harshly. By treating ourselves with kindness, we build a compassionate inner voice that supports us in moments of doubt or criticism. This self-compassion creates a buffer against external judgments, helping us stand firm in our worth. When we are kind to ourselves, we are less likely to seek constant reassurance from others, finding comfort in our own acceptance. This compassionate approach nurtures resilience, allowing us to face criticism with grace rather than defensiveness. To strengthen rational indifference, it's helpful to focus on the things we can control. Others' opinions are beyond our control, but how we respond to them is entirely within our power. When we redirect our energy toward actions, attitudes, and choices that reflect our values, we reclaim our sense of autonomy. This focus on personal responsibility frees us from the need to monitor others' reactions, giving us the space to act with integrity rather than anxiety. By focusing on what we can control, we cultivate a peaceful inner world that isn't easily shaken by external opinions. Rational indifference also teaches us the importance of self-acceptance. When we fully accept ourselves, flaws and all, we become less affected by criticism or rejection. Self-acceptance allows us to embrace our unique qualities without seeking permission from others. This doesn't mean we stop striving for growth. It means we approach self-improvement from a place of self-love rather than self-doubt. Self-acceptance provides a stable foundation, helping us navigate social interactions without constantly questioning our worth. This internal stability is a powerful tool for resilience, enabling us to maintain peace in any situation. In cultivating rational indifference, it's also valuable to understand the difference between respect and validation. Respect from others is earned through actions that align with our values, but validation is not something we need to seek. Respectful relationships are built on mutual understanding and trust, not on a constant need for approval. By focusing on being respectful rather than validated, we foster healthier connections, ones that aren't burdened by the need for reassurance. This approach strengthens relationships, creating bonds based on genuine connection rather than a dependence on others' opinions. Developing rational indifference also involves reframing criticism as a neutral or even beneficial event. Often, criticism triggers defensiveness, making us feel inadequate. But not all criticism is personal or meant to harm. Some of it offers valuable insights for growth. By viewing criticism objectively, we can take what's useful and leave the rest, using it as a tool for self-improvement rather than as a measure of our worth. This approach allows us to respond calmly to feedback, integrating what resonates and discarding what doesn't. Rational indifference turns criticism into a resource, helping us grow without sacrificing self-esteem. One powerful exercise in rational indifference is practicing detachment from labels. Society often labels people based on appearance, achievements, or perceived flaws, and these labels can become limiting if we internalize them. By consciously detaching from labels, we see ourselves beyond the categories others place on us. We recognize that our identity is far richer than any label can capture, encompassing strengths, weaknesses, dreams, and values. This detachment helps us approach life authentically, free from the pressure to fit into prescribed roles. We become comfortable in our uniqueness, confident that our worth transcends labels. Rational indifference also invites us to redefine success on our terms. Society often promotes success based on status, wealth, or recognition, but these external markers don't necessarily bring fulfillment. By defining success according to our own values, growth, kindness, creativity, resilience, we free ourselves from the need to prove ourselves to others. This shift in perspective allows us to pursue goals that genuinely matter to us, creating a life that feels meaningful and aligned with our true selves. Rational indifference in this way fosters a sense of purpose that is grounded in inner fulfillment rather than external validation. Cultivating rational indifference also involves practicing gratitude for who we are, independent of others' approval. Gratitude shifts our focus from seeking validation to appreciating our own qualities and experiences. By valuing our unique strengths and perspectives, we nurture a sense of self-worth that isn't swayed by others' opinions. This gratitude for self creates a foundation of confidence, helping us remain steady in the face of criticism or exclusion. Gratitude reminds us that we are whole, capable, and complete, regardless of others' approval or acknowledgement. In moments of self-doubt, practicing rational indifference involves returning to our core values. Our values define what matters most to us, providing a compass that guides us even when external opinions conflict. By grounding ourselves in our values, we make decisions that align with our true intentions, unburdened by the fear of judgment. This alignment with values builds integrity, fostering a deep sense of peace that isn't easily shaken by others' views. Living according to our values gives us a stable sense of self, one that stands firm in any social situation. Rational indifference, at its heart, is about finding inner freedom. It's the freedom to live authentically, to make choices based on our values, and to interact with others from a place of confidence rather than fear. This freedom allows us to engage with life fully, unafraid of rejection or criticism, embracing our unique path without hesitation. Rational indifference liberates us from the confines of external validation, guiding us toward a life that is peaceful, resilient, and true. As we cultivate rational indifference and begin to free ourselves from the weight of others' opinions, we create space for a deeper sense of peace rooted in self-acceptance. But to build an enduring foundation of emotional resilience, we need an anchor that strengthens and nurtures this inner calm, even when life presents challenges. This anchor is gratitude. Far more than a fleeting sense of thankfulness, gratitude transforms our perspective, grounding us in positivity and helping to counter the impact of negative emotions. Through simple, intentional practices, gratitude nurtures a resilient mindset that supports us in times of difficulty, enabling us to see life through a lens of abundance rather than lack. Gratitude works its magic by shifting our focus from what's missing to what's present. In moments of stress or disappointment, it's easy to fixate on problems, but this focus often magnifies negativity, making challenges feel overwhelming. By practicing gratitude, we redirect our attention to aspects of life that bring comfort, joy, or fulfillment. This shift helps to balance emotions, allowing us to respond to difficulties with perspective and calm. Gratitude doesn't remove the challenges, but it acts as a counterbalance, reminding us that there is still good to be found, even amid hardship. One simple exercise to begin cultivating gratitude is to reflect each day on 3 positive aspects of your life. These can be anything from a meaningful conversation to a moment of laughter to something as simple as a warm cup of tea. Writing them down or saying them aloud reinforces this positive focus, allowing us to internalize the feeling of appreciation. This daily practice gradually trains the mind to seek out positivity, making gratitude a natural response rather than a forced activity. The more we practice, the more resilient we become, with gratitude becoming a source of inner strength that supports us through ups and downs. Another powerful gratitude practice is to focus on the people in your life. Often, we take our relationships for granted, forgetting the support, love, and companionship they bring. By actively appreciating the people around us, we nurture a sense of connection that strengthens our emotional well-being. Simple acts of expressing thanks, whether a kind word, a thoughtful message, or a moment of acknowledgement, cultivate an environment of appreciation, enriching our relationships and, in turn, reinforcing our resilience. This practice helps us realize that we are never truly alone in facing challenges, fostering a sense of shared support. Practicing gratitude also involves learning to appreciate small, everyday moments. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to overlook the beauty of ordinary experiences, the warmth of sunlight, the calm of a quiet morning, the comfort of a favorite book. By slowing down to savor these moments, we cultivate a mindful presence that reduces stress and strengthens our ability to handle difficulties. This approach builds emotional resilience by helping us recognize that joy doesn't only come from big achievements, but can be found in the simplest parts of life. This perspective brings balance, allowing us to navigate life's challenges without losing sight of the good that surrounds us. Gratitude also teaches us to embrace imperfections. Life is rarely perfect, and holding unrealistic expectations often leads to disappointment. By appreciating things as they are, rather than as we wish them to be, we learn to accept life's natural ebb and flow. This acceptance fosters a balanced outlook, one that isn't shaken by every setback. Practicing gratitude for imperfections, whether in ourselves, others, or situations, creates a resilience that isn't easily rattled. Instead of feeling frustrated by what's lacking, we appreciate what is, allowing us to move through life with grace and stability. To deepen gratitude, we can practice reframing negative experiences as opportunities for growth. When faced with a difficult situation, it's natural to feel discouraged, but gratitude encourages us to look for hidden lessons or strengths that the challenge may bring. Perhaps a setback teaches us patience, or a conflict helps us develop clearer boundaries. This reframing turns hardship into a source of strength, enabling us to grow even in adversity. By seeing challenges as growth opportunities, we build a resilient mindset, one that views life's difficulties not as obstacles, but as stepping stones. Gratitude also has the unique power to soften our response to negative emotions. Anger, sadness, or frustration can feel overwhelming, but when we anchor ourselves in gratitude, these emotions lose some of their intensity. By acknowledging both the difficult feelings and the positive aspects of life, we maintain emotional balance, preventing negativity from taking over completely. This balanced approach allows us to feel emotions without being controlled by them, strengthening our resilience and helping us navigate emotional highs and lows with steadiness. Practicing gratitude involves being thankful not only for what we have, but also for what we've experienced. Reflecting on past challenges and recognizing the growth they've brought can deepen our appreciation for resilience. By acknowledging the ways we've overcome difficulties before, we build confidence in our ability to handle future challenges. This practice reinforces a sense of inner strength, reminding us that we have the resources to face whatever comes. Gratitude for past resilience becomes a foundation for future resilience, providing a steady base that helps us approach life with confidence. In moments of comparison or envy, gratitude serves as a powerful antidote. It's easy to look at others and feel lacking, but this mindset often breeds dissatisfaction. By practicing gratitude for our own unique journey, we shift our focus from what others have to what we possess. This perspective fosters contentment, helping us appreciate our path without longing for someone else's. Gratitude helps us see that our worth isn't determined by comparison, but by our own experiences and growth. This shift from comparison to appreciation cultivates emotional resilience, freeing us from the emotional turmoil that comparison often brings. Gratitude also encourages us to give back, strengthening our sense of purpose and connection. When we feel grateful, it's natural to want to share that positivity with others, whether through acts of kindness, support, or encouragement. By extending gratitude outward, we create a ripple effect, positively impacting others and, in turn, reinforcing our own resilience. This cycle of giving and receiving builds a supportive network that strengthens our emotional foundation, creating a community of shared gratitude that uplifts us in times of need. Practicing gratitude includes acknowledging the resilience of others, not just our own. By appreciating the strength, courage, or kindness of people around us, we reinforce a sense of shared humanity. This awareness fosters empathy, helping us see that everyone faces challenges. In moments of difficulty, this shared understanding becomes a source of comfort, reminding us that we're not alone. Appreciating others' resilience not only deepens our connection to them, but also strengthens our own as we draw inspiration from their courage and perseverance. One practical way to cultivate gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal. Writing down things we're grateful for each day reinforces a positive mindset, creating a habit of appreciation. This practice doesn't require grand moments. It can include simple things like a good meal, a productive day, or a moment of laughter. Over time, this journal becomes a source of encouragement, especially during tough times, reminding us of the good that persists even when life feels challenging. This ritual fosters resilience by building a reserve of positivity that we can draw from when needed. Gratitude also teaches us to release control, a lesson that strengthens emotional resilience. Often, stress arises from trying to control every aspect of life, but gratitude helps us focus on the present, appreciating what is rather than wishing for what could be. By letting go of the need to control, we reduce anxiety, creating a mindset that is open, adaptable, and resilient. This acceptance brings a sense of peace, allowing us to move through life's uncertainties with grace and trust rather than fear. Practicing gratitude also deepens our appreciation for our own strengths and achievements. In moments of self-doubt, reflecting on personal milestones, talents, or qualities reminds us of our capabilities. By recognizing our own value, we build a foundation of self-confidence that supports us in difficult times. This inner appreciation becomes a steady source of resilience, helping us approach challenges with a belief in our ability to overcome them. Gratitude for self empowers us, creating a self-reliant strength that isn't easily shaken. Gratitude cultivates a life of fullness, where we're no longer defined by what we lack, but by what we cherish. This shift in focus transforms our experience, allowing us to live with a sense of abundance, resilience, and joy. Through gratitude, we find strength not in avoiding difficulties, but in embracing them with a heart open to growth. It is a practice that doesn't remove challenges, but reframes our response to them, fostering resilience that carries us through any storm. Gratitude, in this way, becomes both a path and a destination, guiding us toward a life that is rich, balanced, and resilient. Gratitude builds a resilient inner world, allowing us to approach life with a sense of balance and peace. But sustaining that inner peace often requires setting boundaries that protect our mental and emotional well-being. Boundaries are essential to maintaining a space where we can cultivate gratitude, resilience, and calm. Without them, our energy becomes scattered, constantly influenced by the demands and opinions of others. Setting personal boundaries empowers us to create a mental space free from disrespect and emotional intrusion, allowing us to focus on what truly matters and maintain harmony within ourselves. Establishing boundaries begins with understanding our limits. Each person has their own level of tolerance for interactions, responsibilities, and expectations. Often, stress arises when we extend ourselves beyond what feels comfortable, attempting to meet others' demands without considering our own needs. By becoming aware of our limits, we recognize when to say no and where to draw the line. This awareness isn't about closing ourselves off, but about honoring our own energy and well-being. Knowing our limits allows us to interact with others from a place of strength rather than obligation, reducing resentment and fostering healthier relationships. A powerful tool for setting boundaries is clear communication. Many times, boundaries are compromised because they remain unspoken. We assume others know what we need, but without clear communication, misunderstandings arise, leading to frustration. By expressing our boundaries openly, we create transparency, allowing others to understand and respect our needs. Whether in relationships, work, or social settings, being clear about our limits strengthens respect on both sides. This clarity prevents emotional intrusion and ensures that our mental space remains protected. It creates a mutual understanding that fosters harmony, helping us connect with others without compromising our own peace. Setting boundaries also means learning to say no without guilt. Many people feel obligated to say yes to requests, fearing disappointment or conflict. But constantly agreeing to others' demands can drain our energy, leaving little room for self-care or personal growth. Learning to say no is an act of self-respect, affirming that our well-being is a priority. This doesn't mean rejecting others without reason. It means recognizing when saying no is necessary to maintain balance. With practice, saying no becomes a skill that reinforces our boundaries, helping us focus on commitments that align with our values. Another important aspect of boundaries is protecting our emotional energy. Each interaction we have carries an emotional exchange, and some interactions can feel particularly draining. By setting boundaries around our emotional energy, we become selective about whom and what we invest in. This doesn't mean distancing ourselves from everyone, but rather choosing relationships and activities that uplift rather than deplete us. By preserving our energy for people and situations that support our well-being, we create a positive environment that fosters inner peace and growth. This approach helps us engage with life fully without feeling emotionally exhausted. Creating boundaries also involves setting limits on time and attention. Time is a finite resource, and without boundaries, it can be easily consumed by external demands. By setting time limits, we prioritize what's important, allowing us to focus on personal goals and self-care. This doesn't mean avoiding responsibilities, but rather managing them in a way that respects our own needs. When we control our time, we gain freedom to pursue activities that nurture our spirit, bringing a sense of fulfillment and peace. Boundaries around time ensure that our mental space remains free from unnecessary stress, allowing us to approach life with clarity. Boundaries are also essential in managing the influence of others' opinions. Often, we let the views of others shape our decisions, fearing judgment or rejection. This can lead to a life lived for others rather than ourselves, filled with actions that don't align with our true intentions. By setting boundaries around others' opinions, we reclaim our autonomy, choosing actions that reflect our values rather than external expectations. This freedom from judgment brings peace, allowing us to make choices confidently, guided by our inner compass rather than others' perceptions. Boundaries around opinions ensure that our sense of self remains intact, grounded in authenticity. Setting boundaries also requires practicing self-compassion. When we establish limits, it's common to feel guilt or fear of being seen as selfish. But self-compassion reminds us that boundaries are a form of self-care, not selfishness. By treating ourselves with kindness, we overcome the guilt associated with saying no or setting limits. This compassion allows us to prioritize our needs without apology, creating a mental space where peace and self-respect coexist. Practicing self-compassion helps us stand firm in our boundaries, knowing that we are honoring ourselves in a healthy and balanced way. Another vital element of boundaries is maintaining physical space when necessary. Sometimes, maintaining inner peace requires physical distance from situations or individuals that disrupt our well-being. Physical boundaries are not about avoiding others, but about creating a space where we can recharge, reflect, and find calm. By recognizing when we need physical space, we protect our mental state, allowing ourselves time to regain clarity and perspective. This physical distance fosters resilience, enabling us to interact with others from a place of balance rather than reaction. Boundaries around physical space nurture our inner peace, providing a sanctuary where we can restore our energy. Setting boundaries also involves creating mental filters that protect us from negativity. Life is filled with both positive and negative influences, and without boundaries, we risk absorbing negativity that impacts our mental state. By consciously choosing to limit exposure to negative thoughts, media, or conversations, we safeguard our mental space. This selective approach helps us maintain a balanced perspective, focusing on constructive thoughts rather than being weighed down by negativity. Mental filters act as a shield, allowing us to stay centered and resilient, unshaken by external disturbances. These boundaries protect our peace, fostering a positive mindset that supports growth. Boundaries also extend to our personal responsibilities. Many people take on more than they can handle, driven by a desire to help others or avoid letting anyone down. While generosity is valuable, overextending ourselves can lead to burnout. By setting boundaries around our responsibilities, we ensure that our energy remains balanced, allowing us to give without depleting ourselves. This approach doesn't mean refusing to help others. It means recognizing our own limits and choosing commitments mindfully. Boundaries around responsibilities create a sustainable balance, helping us contribute positively without compromising our well-being. Creating boundaries requires consistency. It's not enough to set limits once. Maintaining them requires ongoing effort and reinforcement. Often, others may test our boundaries, either intentionally or unintentionally. By consistently upholding our boundaries, we communicate that our limits are non-negotiable, fostering respect and understanding. This consistency builds a sense of trust in ourselves, reinforcing our commitment to our own peace and well-being. Each time we uphold a boundary, we strengthen our inner resolve, creating a stable foundation that others come to recognize and respect. Boundaries also help us navigate difficult conversations. In interactions that challenge our peace, boundaries provide a guide for how we communicate. By knowing our limits, we can address issues calmly without becoming defensive or reactive. Boundaries allow us to express our needs clearly, creating an atmosphere of mutual respect, even in challenging discussions. This approach fosters healthier communication, reducing misunderstandings and building trust. With boundaries in place, we handle conflicts constructively, maintaining our peace while fostering positive relationships. Establishing boundaries also allows us to embrace vulnerability with confidence. Vulnerability is essential for deep connections, but without boundaries, it can leave us feeling exposed. By setting boundaries around what we share and with whom, we create a safe space for genuine connection without compromising our emotional safety. This selective sharing fosters trust, allowing us to be open without fear of judgment or intrusion. Boundaries around vulnerability enable us to build connections that are both authentic and protected, creating relationships rooted in mutual respect. In practicing boundaries, we also develop resilience. Life will always present situations that test our peace, but boundaries provide a buffer that helps us navigate these challenges with strength. By knowing our limits, we remain grounded, unshaken by external pressures. This resilience enables us to face difficulties without sacrificing our well-being, creating a mindset that is adaptable and secure. Boundaries become a source of stability, allowing us to remain peaceful in the midst of change or uncertainty. Boundaries also empower us to take responsibility for our own emotions. Often we blame others for how we feel, but boundaries remind us that our emotional well-being is our responsibility. By setting limits on what we accept from others, we protect our mental state, taking ownership of our reactions. This approach fosters maturity, helping us navigate emotions with clarity and purpose rather than impulsivity. Boundaries create a mental space where we can process emotions without feeling overwhelmed, reinforcing our inner peace. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about creating a life that reflects our values and intentions. Boundaries help us design a mental space where peace, resilience, and authenticity thrive, allowing us to live fully without losing ourselves in external demands. This process brings clarity, empowering us to engage with life from a place of strength and self-respect. Through boundaries, we cultivate an inner world that remains peaceful and steady, regardless of the circumstances around us. This practice transforms our experience, enabling us to approach life with balance, fulfillment, and unwavering peace. Boundaries help create a life of inner peace, but sustaining that peace often requires letting go of people and situations that no longer value our presence or efforts. Recognizing when to stop investing in relationships that don't offer reciprocal respect or appreciation is essential for maintaining emotional well-being. Letting go of unreciprocated efforts doesn't mean abandoning compassion or giving up on others lightly. It means understanding when continuous giving harms our own peace, shifting our energy towards self-appreciation instead. This shift allows us to cultivate connections that bring mutual support, respect, and joy, rather than draining us of our sense of self. Recognizing when to let go begins with observing the nature of our interactions. In a balanced relationship, both parties feel seen, valued, and respected. However, when our efforts go unrecognized or unreturned over time, it creates an emotional imbalance that can lead to resentment, self-doubt, or exhaustion. By acknowledging these imbalances, we gain clarity, understanding that one-sided relationships often create more harm than good. This realization opens the path to letting go of unreciprocated efforts, allowing us to preserve our energy for relationships that genuinely support us. A helpful approach in this process is reflecting on our motivations. Often, the desire to help or please others stems from a genuine place of kindness. But if we repeatedly invest in someone who doesn't value our efforts, we may be driven by a deeper need for approval or validation. Recognizing this need helps us detach from seeking approval in the wrong places. It shifts our focus inward, allowing us to find validation within ourselves rather than from those who fail to appreciate our worth. By understanding our own motivations, we free ourselves from the cycle of seeking acceptance where it cannot be found. Learning to let go also requires releasing the need for closure or change. Many times, we hold on to relationships, hoping that the other person will eventually reciprocate, acknowledge our efforts, or offer closure. But waiting for change often keeps us stuck in a state of longing, investing emotional energy into something beyond our control. Letting go means accepting that closure doesn't always come from others. Sometimes it's a choice we make for ourselves. This acceptance is empowering, as it allows us to reclaim our emotional freedom without depending on another's actions or responses. Self-compassion plays a central role in letting go of unreciprocated efforts. Ending a one-sided relationship can bring feelings of guilt or doubt, especially if we've invested significant time or energy. By practicing self-compassion, we acknowledge that our needs and boundaries are valid. This kindness toward ourselves creates a supportive inner environment where we feel safe honoring our limits. Self-compassion reminds us that it's okay to prioritize our well-being, helping us let go without regret or self-judgment. This gentle approach makes it easier to move forward, knowing that we deserve relationships where our efforts are valued. Redirecting energy towards self-appreciation is a key part of letting go. When we withdraw efforts from one-sided relationships, we gain time and energy that can be used to nurture ourselves. By focusing on self-appreciation, we build a stronger sense of self-worth that doesn't rely on others' validation. This practice involves celebrating our own strengths, recognizing our accomplishments, and appreciating the qualities that make us unique. Through self-appreciation, we strengthen our foundation, making it less likely that we'll fall into patterns of unreciprocated efforts in the future. Another important aspect of letting go is embracing the discomfort that can accompany it. Often, we hold on to unreciprocated relationships because the thought of ending them feels unsettling. However, growth often involves stepping into discomfort. By accepting this discomfort as a natural part of the process, we allow ourselves to move forward without fearing the unknown. This willingness that found that people who engage in regular personal encounters report higher levels of well-being and fewer feelings of loneliness. This happens because in-person interactions activate brain areas associated with reward and empathy, forging deeper emotional bonds. So the next time you're tempted to send a quick text, ask yourself, could this be done in person? If the answer is yes, go ahead and arrange a meeting, be it for coffee, a walk, or any activity that allows you to be genuinely present. And don't worry about always being available. Constant accessibility can lower your value. After all, what incentive does someone have to seek a deeper connection with you if you're always just a message away? Remember, sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder. Let them miss your real presence. Don't be the open book left on the coffee table, but the book tucked away on a high shelf, waiting to be rediscovered. In conclusion, prioritize personal encounters. Use your phone to organize these meetings, not to replace them. Be the sunlight in people's lives, not just a drop of water. True connections are made in person, and by doing this, you'll create lasting memories and deeper relationships. Moving on to emotional independence, have you ever thought about why some people seem to effortlessly attract others? The secret isn't some mysterious force of nature or a supernatural gift. It's emotional independence. This quality not only makes you more appealing, but it also leads to a more fulfilled and satisfying life. Imagine your life as a beautiful garden, full of flowers, fruit trees, and a small pond with fish. You are the gardener of this garden. If you rely on someone else to water your plants, fertilize the soil, and remove the weeds, your garden will eventually wither. But if you tend to it with care and attention, it will flourish, drawing others in. Emotional independence isn't about being cold or distant. It's about having a full and exciting life of your own. It's about enjoying your hobbies, pursuing your goals, and being at peace with who you are. This way, when someone enters your life, you're not doing so from a place of need, but from a place of abundance. You're inviting them to a banquet you've already prepared, rather than waiting for the ingredients to show up. One of the foundational teachings of emotional independence comes from Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what lies beyond our reach. For instance, you can't control whether someone misses you or wants you, but you can control how you live your life, how you engage with activities you enjoy, and how you take care of yourself. If you want someone to long for you, the key is not to be constantly available, always texting or making plans. What keeps a viewer hooked in a thrilling movie is the intrigue and anticipation. Similarly, if you're always present, there's no chance for the person to miss you. But if you completely disappear from their view, there's a risk of being forgotten. It's all about striking a delicate balance, like a dance. To achieve this, nurture your own life. Enroll in that painting course you've always wanted to try, go for a morning run, dive into a book that excites you, and make time to enjoy your own company. Not only will this make you more interesting, but it will also give you a confidence and security that are utterly irresistible, like a subtle yet intoxicating fragrance that lingers after you. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that emotionally independent people tend to have healthier, more fulfilling relationships. Those with strong emotional autonomy are perceived as more attractive, and they experience less conflict and greater satisfaction in their relationships. Remember, emotional independence is a journey, not a destination. There will be days when you feel vulnerable or needy, and that's okay. What matters is that you continue tending to your garden day after day with patience and care. Emotional independence is the key to a vibrant, fulfilling life and to attracting others from a place of abundance, not need. You are the gardener of your own life, and the more you flourish, the more others will be drawn to you. Always keep in mind this truth. A fulfilling life is built from within, not from the expectations of others. Lastly, let's touch on patience in love. We're often sold the idea of love at first sight, the excitement, the butterflies in our stomachs. But what happens when those butterflies turn into moths that consume our peace of mind? In this tip, I'm going to discuss something we should all practice more of: patience in love. Don't rush into love before you truly know the person. Yes, it might sound boring or even a little stoic, but trust me, it makes sense. Imagine you're at the supermarket. You walk directly to the fruit section and spot a shiny apple. Instantly, you feel excited, pick it up and purchase it without much thought. But when you get home and take that first bite, you discover that the inside is rotten. This is a perfect analogy for love. Often we get swept away by appearances and the emotions of the moment, forgetting the most crucial thing: really taking the time to get to know the person. Building a relationship is like constructing a house. It needs a solid foundation. And how do you create that foundation? It's not rocket science. You take the time to talk, to understand their values, dreams, and fears. A truly intimate connection doesn't develop overnight. It's a process, one that takes patience and care. Ask yourself if you share similar values and visions for the future, because these are the elements that will help the relationship withstand the inevitable storms that come. A study by Stanford University, led by psychologist Carol Dweck, highlights the power of a growth mindset in relationships. According to Dweck, people who approach relationships as a continuous process of growth and learning are more likely to experience success. This mindset encourages you to take the time to genuinely get to know the other person rather than rushing and expecting perfection from the start. Now, let's explore how to make someone miss you and want you. At first glance, this might seem manipulative, but in reality, it's about valuing yourself and establishing your own sense of worth. Think of it like morning coffee. It's more enjoyable when you don't drink it every day. In terms of love, this means maintaining your independence, pursuing your passions, and not becoming an extension of the other person. Give yourself and them space. Don't feel compelled to respond immediately to every message or be available around the clock. By doing so, you not only make the other person appreciate you more, but you also create space to reflect on whether this relationship is truly worth your time and emotional investment. It's not about playing mind games, but about striking a healthy balance. Constant availability can feel suffocating and lead you to be taken for granted. Think of yourself as a good book, one that deserves to be read carefully, not just skimmed. Patience in love is a virtue, one that many overlook, but it can make all the difference between a fleeting romance and a lasting bond. Getting to know someone well before falling in love and maintaining a healthy balance between presence and independence are essential elements in building a solid, intimate relationship. So the next time you feel those famous butterflies in your stomach, take a deep breath and remember that good things take time. As I've said before, true love isn't the kind that comes quickly. It's the one that remains when everyone else has gone. Now let's dive into the concept of the connection bubble. Imagine you're with a special person and suddenly the world around you fades away. The noise dies down and all that matters is the connection between the two of you. This is the connection bubble, a space that not only strengthens the relationship but also creates unforgettable moments that both of you will cherish. So how do you make someone miss you and desire your presence? The answer isn't a magic trick. It's a combination of authenticity and some practical approaches. First, be genuine. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of living authentically, staying true to our values. In a relationship, this means being yourself, without masks. Authenticity lays the groundwork for any meaningful connection. When you are genuine, you create space for the other person to be themselves too, which fosters a dynamic of trust and comfort. And you know what's more attractive than anything else? Confidence. The connection bubble isn't created overnight. It's like a dance. Imagine you're on the dance floor with your partner, moving to a rhythm that only the two of you can hear. To keep this dance going, you need to be in sync. This means paying attention to details, actively listening, and responding with empathy. When your partner feels heard and understood, the connection deepens. A study by psychologist John Gottman, an expert on relationships, underscores the importance of emotional attunement. Gottman found that couples who practice attunement, being emotionally present, listening actively, and responding empathetically, are far more likely to stay together. When you apply these principles, you create an environment where the other person feels valued and understood. But how do you get someone to miss you? This is where the balance between presence and absence comes into play. If you're always available, your presence may be taken for granted. Instead, by subtly withdrawing from time to time, you give the other person space to think about you and miss you. It's like tending to a plant. It needs water, but too much can drown it. You need to find the right balance for it to bloom. For instance, when you're in that connection bubble, make sure you're creating meaningful memories. It's not just about grand gestures, but also the small details, a spontaneous message, an inside joke, or a shared meaningful glance. These moments become emotional anchors that the other person will remember when you're not around. Stoic philosophy also teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. You can't force someone to miss you, but you can be the best version of yourself and create moments worth remembering. At the end of the day, what attracts people most is the quality of the connection they feel with you. To wrap things up, remember that the connection bubble is a sacred space that only the two of you can create. Be authentic, listen closely, and find the balance between being present and giving space. Doing this not only makes someone miss you and desire you, but it also helps build a relationship based on mutual understanding, love, and respect. In case you're not quite getting it, my friend, love is not about possession. It's about connection and shared freedom. The key is being genuine and creating meaningful moments that, while small, hold great significance. This connection bubble will become a safe refuge where they'll always want to return. Lastly, let's explore the power of silence. Have you ever considered just how powerful silence can be? In a world overflowing with noise and constant chatter, we often overlook the potential of what can be achieved through a simple look or a moment of quiet. Perhaps it's time to realize that you don't always need to speak. Sometimes just being there is enough. Think about this. Silence has an undeniable magic. Picture yourself in the middle of a heated conversation where words are flying like bullets. Instead of continuing to argue, you choose to remain silent, observing. That silence isn't empty, it's full of meaning. The exchanged glances in that moment can speak louder than 1,000 words. Now, let's apply this idea to the art of making someone miss you and want you. It may seem complicated at first, but it's simpler than you think if you incorporate a bit of Stoic philosophy and recognize that sometimes absence is far more powerful than constant presence. You've probably heard the phrase, "less is more," and in human relationships, this often holds true. Just like in a recipe where too much salt can ruin the dish, being too present can diminish your value in the other person's eyes. If you're strategically absent, your presence becomes something more precious, something to be savored and longed for. The trick is to create space for the other person to miss you, not by disappearing entirely, but by finding the right balance. Think of it like a musician who knows when to pause during a performance. These silences make the music richer and more exciting. In the same way, absence can build anticipation, creating a spark that makes someone realize how much they truly need you. A psychological study from the University of Virginia found that people tend to value interactions more when there is a time gap between them. Researchers discovered that even brief moments of absence can make people appreciate the relationship more. This phenomenon is known as the scarcity effect, where something becomes more valuable simply because it's not always available. So, how do you achieve this without seeming indifferent? The key lies in subtlety, in the power of looks and gestures. A single, intense glance can linger in someone's memory far longer than an entire conversation. A small gesture of affection, an unexpected detail, can be more effective than being present all the time. Strive to leave behind traces that are not easily seen, like the wind. Though invisible, its presence is felt and missed when there's no silence to reveal its absence. Simple communication is the key to connecting at a deeper level. Stoic philosophy teaches us to appreciate these moments, recognizing that presence is not always physical. Sometimes the most significant impact comes from what remains unspoken. Allow silence to work its magic, and you'll see how people begin to notice your absence and yearn for your presence. The next time you want someone to miss you and long for your company, remember that words aren't always necessary. Being present in silence can be enough. As Epictetus said, true power lies in the silence that speaks louder than any words. Authenticity plays a central role in how we connect with others. Have you ever felt like you're acting in life as though you're playing a part that doesn't fit you? Trying to be someone you're not, adjusting your behavior and words to fit the desires of others can lead to a significant disconnect. Authenticity and honesty are the foundation of any meaningful relationship. Being genuine is not about being flawless, but about being yourself, embracing both your strengths and your flaws. Imagine being an open book, not one with empty pages where anyone can write their own narrative, but a book filled with adventures and even some darker chapters. Authenticity is about showing your book as it is, without embellishment or removing uncomfortable parts. When you allow yourself to be authentic, you let others truly get to know you and form a genuine connection. You are no longer playing a role or following a script. You are simply being yourself. Honesty is the glue that holds your authenticity together. There's no point in showing yourself as authentic if you are not also being honest with your feelings and thoughts. Honesty isn't just about avoiding lies, but about being transparent, saying what you really feel, even if it's uncomfortable. How do you make someone miss you and want your presence. There are no magic tricks or formulas. The key is to be authentic and honest. When you are transparent about who you are and how you feel, you forge a connection that transcends the superficial. Psychology backs this up. A Harvard study revealed that people who are seen as authentic and honest tend to form more valued and satisfying relationships. Think of authenticity as a recipe for a great dish. When you use quality ingredients and follow the process properly, the outcome is delicious. But if you rush or substitute with poor quality ingredients, the result will disappoint. Authenticity and honesty are the quality ingredients in any relationship. Of course, being authentic and honest doesn't mean being rude or insensitive. It's about striking a balance between expressing yourself and respecting the other person. If you wonder whether this works, the answer is yes. People are drawn to those who are genuine and unafraid to express their true selves. Their authenticity becomes a light that attracts others. So, next time you wish someone would miss you, remember, don't waste time pretending to be someone else. Be authentic, be honest, and watch how the magic unfolds. It's not about impressing others. It's about being truthful, and at the end of the day, people value sincerity above all. As Marcus Aurelius said, authenticity reflects the true beauty of a person. Avoiding seduction techniques is crucial to creating genuine connections. You've probably heard countless times about infallible techniques to win someone over. They promise that if you do this or that, the other person will be at your feet. But that's all a myth. Seduction techniques are like cheap paint on a wall. They might look attractive for a while, but over time, they fade and reveal the truth. If you want someone to miss you and desire your presence, start by being authentic. Stop pretending to be a character in a soap opera. Following pre-established seduction techniques is like wearing a Halloween costume. You might fool some people for a while, but eventually the facade will crack. Picture yourself on a first date, using rehearsed lines and behaving in a way that doesn't even feel like you. It may work temporarily, but who wants to be with someone who isn't genuine? Stoic philosophy teaches us to live according to our true nature and be authentic with ourselves. If you pretend to be someone you are not, the facade will inevitably fall. There is nothing more attractive than someone who is genuine and unfiltered. So, how do you make someone miss you and want your presence without resorting to cheap tricks? The answer is simple. Be yourself. Authenticity always wins. When you show up as you are, you create a real, lasting connection. It's not about saying the right things or making the right moves. It's about being vulnerable and real. A study by psychologist William Swan, known as the self-verifying theory, found that people are drawn to others who show their true identity and are recognized and appreciated for it. Being authentic isn't just more satisfying, it's also more effective in forming meaningful, lasting connections. To connect with someone in a true way, leave behind the masks and techniques. Share your thoughts and feelings honestly, and don't be afraid to show your vulnerabilities. They are what make you human, and therefore attractive. Ask genuine questions, listen attentively, and create a space where both of you can share and grow. This kind of connection will make the other person think of you when you're not around. Remember, the key to being missed and desired isn't in artificial seduction techniques, but in authenticity. Let go of the tricks and masks and show up just as you are. Only then will you create a relationship that is truly meaningful and worth having. As Seneca wisely said, there is no greater seduction than the naked truth of who you truly are. True communication of freedom is a liberating experience. There's nothing more magical than feeling free to be yourself, and that feeling can be fostered in a relationship where you are encouraged to be authentic. Stoic philosophy teaches us that internal freedom is one of the greatest gifts we can both offer and receive. But how do we communicate this freedom to another person? First, make it clear that you are free with them. There's nothing more attractive than the feeling of being accepted for who you truly are. Think of it like taking off your shoes after a long day. It's an immediate feeling of release. Similarly, offer that same freedom to the other person. Allow them to shed their masks and be their true selves. It may sound idealistic, but freedom is about living in the present moment without judgment of the past or worrying about the future. Psychology supports this idea as well. A study by the University of Rochester found that relationships where individuals feel free and autonomous are much more satisfying. According to the researchers, when people feel they can be themselves and their choices are respected, they experience greater well-being and a deeper connection with their partners. If you're wondering how to make someone miss you and want your presence, the answer lies in offering freedom. Don't obsess over every message or measure the value of your relationship by the frequency of communication. Instead, create a safe space where the other person can truly be themselves. Imagine being an oasis in the middle of a desert, a place where someone can recharge and find peace. That, my friend, is irresistible. And don't worry about past baggage. Let it stay where it belongs, in the past. Focus on what you can share now, creating genuine moments that will be remembered. When you focus on the present, you create meaningful experiences that stay with the other person. Freedom is fundamentally tied to trust. Trust in yourself and in what you have to offer. You don't have to be perfect to be authentic. Authenticity is like a refreshing breeze on a hot day. It's welcome and soothing. When you show up as your true self without apologies, you create a space where others feel safe to do the same. In this space of authenticity and mutual acceptance, something genuine and deep can grow. There are no magical techniques or step-by-step guides for this, but think of how you can embody the freedom you seek. If you want someone to miss you, don't burden them with constant reminders of your presence. Instead, become like a pleasant memory, like a catchy song that lingers in their mind. Be the person who offers space to breathe and is always willing to listen. Communication rooted in freedom doesn't involve games or manipulative strategies. It's about creating an environment where both individuals can truly be themselves, enjoying the present without being weighed down by the past. The true essence of connection lies in trusting the authenticity of what you share with one another. Freedom, at its core, is the greatest attraction you can offer. Remember this: there is no greater freedom than to be fully yourself in the company of another. This freedom is the key to establishing a genuine and lasting connection. When it comes to desire, the idea is not about forcing it, but allowing it to naturally grow. Think of the plant you water and care for. If you keep giving it constant attention without letting it breathe, it may eventually wilt. Desire in relationships works the same way. Sometimes less is more. Giving someone the space to miss you is essential. It's not about disappearing entirely, but rather about offering them a break so they can feel your absence and long for your presence. Imagine you're the star of an amazing movie. If people watch it repeatedly without pause, the excitement will eventually fade. The same happens in relationships. Constant contact can dull the mystery and excitement that keep things fresh. The key is balance. Let the relationship breathe. don't always be available. If your presence is always at their fingertips, they may take it for granted. Think of yourself as a fascinating book, something to savor in small doses, not something to devour in one sitting. Stoic philosophy encourages us to seek moderation in all things, and this principle is valuable in relationships as well. It's not about playing games, but rather about maintaining a sense of mystery and individuality. Research by psychologist Sandra Murray at the University of Buffalo supports this idea, showing that couples who maintain a sense of independence within their relationship report higher satisfaction and desire. A little distance, she finds, gives people space to reflect on their partner and appreciate their presence more. It's also crucial to cultivate your own interests and passions. This not only makes you more attractive, but gives you something to talk about when you meet. When you're not together, the other person will not only miss you, but will also miss hearing about the interesting things you do. Maintaining independence is essential. No one wants to be with someone who depends entirely on the relationship for their happiness. You must continue growing as a person, pursuing your own goals and ambitions. This principle is deeply embedded in Stoic teachings about self-sufficiency and self-discipline. Physical space is equally important. If you live together or spend a lot of time in the same space, get out of the house, take a walk by yourself, read in a cafe, or pursue an activity on your own. When you return, your time apart will feel like a breath of fresh air. Communication remains key. It's not about vanishing without a word, but about establishing healthy boundaries. Speak openly about the importance of personal space and how it benefits both partners. Honesty and transparency build trust and mutual respect. Creating space is not about playing tricks or disappearing entirely. It's about allowing room for desire to grow. By being independent, maintaining your own interests, and communicating openly, you can encourage both yourself and the other person to miss and appreciate each other more. Desire thrives on the freedom to grow and breathe, and in relationships, that means balancing time spent together with space for individuality. Now, let's talk about attachment. It's common to yearn for meaningful connections, as if every interaction might be the last drop of water in an endless desert. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of not clinging to any one connection. It may sound counterintuitive, especially in a world where connections are just a touch away, but the secret is not to obsess over them. Think of yourself like the sun, bright and unique. Not every planet will revolve around you, but there will always be one that does. You don't need to force connections. Let them happen naturally. Trust that if a connection doesn't materialize, it's because something better is waiting for you. This mentality brings freedom and makes you more attractive. When you let go of desperation, you shine with self-confidence, which acts as a powerful magnet. Imagine you're a gardener. If you water a plant out of desperation, it won't thrive. Instead, tend to your own garden. Focus on your hobbies, friendships, and personal growth. Allow yourself to bloom and become a more fascinating person. Absence, as the saying goes, makes the heart grow fonder. When you're not always available, the other person will begin to appreciate you more. They'll long for your company because it isn't always there. Research from Stanford University shows that security in oneself is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess. People who exude self-confidence and don't depend on others for validation tend to attract more interest. This type of emotional independence and self-affirmation is essential for creating stronger, more lasting connections. This doesn't mean playing mind games or disappearing without a word. It's about balancing time and energy, giving enough to show you care, but holding back a little to maintain your own sense of self. It's a delicate balance between being present and giving space. Remember, the Stoics believed in accepting things as they are, not fighting against what's inevitable. Rather than clinging to what could be, appreciate what you have in the moment and trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time. Lastly, leaving toxic relationships is crucial for your well-being. Imagine life as a journey with a backpack that you carry with you. At first, you might not notice the weight, but over time, the burden becomes overwhelming. You must decide what to carry with you and what to leave behind in order to move forward with more lightness and happiness. The same applies to toxic relationships. No matter how much you try, some relationships will never improve. If you find yourself in a relationship that makes you feel heavier, sadder, or unappreciated, it's time to reevaluate and perhaps let go. Recognizing a toxic relationship is not always easy. You might question whether you're overreacting. This is when the perspective of close friends can be invaluable. They can offer a clearer view of the situation. If multiple trusted people agree that a relationship is harming you, it's worth taking their advice seriously. Relationships should be places of mutual respect, appreciation, and positive energy. If your efforts are consistently unacknowledged, or if your feelings are disregarded, it's time to step back. Remember, surrounding yourself with people who appreciate you is essential for your emotional health. A study conducted by the University of California in Los Angeles revealed that having healthy, supportive relationships can greatly enhance happiness and reduce stress levels. Now, when it comes to making someone miss you and want you, the answer doesn't lie in manipulating or forcing situations. The real key is authenticity and valuing yourself. When you make the decision to let go of a toxic relationship, it sends a clear and strong message that you have enough self-respect not to settle for less than you deserve. This can serve as a reality check for the other person. Sometimes the best tools for making someone realize they miss you are distance and time. To make someone miss you, first, you must learn to enjoy your own company. Dedicate time to your hobbies, explore new activities, and surround yourself with positive people. Work on your personal growth. Stoic philosophy teaches us to find peace within ourselves and not to rely on external circumstances for our happiness. By focusing on your own development, you naturally become a more attractive person, not just to others, but to yourself as well. Letting go of toxic relationships is also an act of self-love. Though it is challenging, it is essential for your emotional well-being and growth. Learn to value yourself, seek support from your friends, and make sure to surround yourself with people who truly appreciate you. By letting go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what you truly deserve. Next, let's talk about the power of positivity. Have you ever wondered how to make someone miss you? No, we're not talking about becoming a love magician, but rather becoming a person so positively magnetic that others simply want to be around you. You should aim to be like that morning cup of coffee that everyone needs to start the day with a smile. That is the kind of energy you should evoke in the people around you. But how can you achieve this without seeming forced or unnatural? The answer lies in adopting a Stoic philosophy, combined with a sense of humor and a great deal of positivity. This approach not only works, but it is also highly effective. Being a positive person doesn't mean you ignore problems or live in a fantasy world. Instead, it means facing life with resilience and optimism. When you can see the glass as half full and inspire others to do the same, people will be naturally drawn to you. Positivity, like sunlight, is something everyone gravitates toward, although they might not want it constantly. The key is balance. If you manage to keep a cheerful and calm demeanor even in difficult times, people will be attracted to you because you radiate peace and well-being. This is one of the fundamental teachings of Stoic philosophy, maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. A study conducted by the University of California in 2008 showed that people with a positive attitude and those who practice optimism are more likely to form stronger and more satisfying interpersonal relationships. This research underscores how positivity not only improves our personal well-being, but also strengthens our bonds with others. Now, let's move on to the role of humor. Having a sense of humor doesn't mean being the clown of the group, but rather it means being able to laugh at yourself and at the little, unimportant things. Humor is a powerful tool for breaking the ice and forming genuine connections. For example, when faced with a setback, instead of complaining, find the humor in the situation. Laughter is contagious and can lighten the mood, making people associate your presence with positive experiences. A useful technique here is to adopt what we might call strategic lightness. Imagine yourself as someone who rises above daily problems with a calm and positive outlook. This approach will not only help you maintain a good mood, but will also attract others who desire that same lightness in their own lives. To be someone who others miss and desire, you must combine positivity with humor. This combination will make you more attractive and help you create deeper, lasting relationships. From a Stoic perspective, staying calm and joyful in the face of challenges will make people seek your company. Remember, positivity and humor aren't about denying reality. They are about choosing how you wish to face it. Be the ray of sunshine in others' lives, and you'll soon find that they want more of your light. Now, let's turn to an important piece of advice. Don't be in a hurry to fall in love. How often have you found yourself staring at the ceiling, wondering when the person who will change your life will appear? Popular culture bombards us with the idea that we need someone else to be happy. But what if I told you that love comes when you least expect it? In the meantime, you have something much more important to focus on: yourself. Stoic philosophy teaches us a key lesson. Tranquility and self-control are essential for a fulfilling life. You don't need someone else to complete you. You are already a complete person, just as you are. Instead of searching for someone to fill a void, focus on yourself. Working on your personal growth may seem like a never-ending task, but it is this dedication that will make you shine brighter. Think of your life as a garden. If you spend all your time waiting for someone else to plant flowers for you, you will miss out on the beauty of growing your own. By investing time in your passions, friendships, and skills, you'll build a richer, more fulfilling life. The more you enrich your own life, the more you'll have to offer when the right person comes along. Waiting for love can feel frustrating, especially in a world where instant gratification is the norm. But love doesn't follow the rules of fast delivery. It can't be ordered like a package from Amazon, and that's okay. The waiting period has its own magic. It's in that pause where you truly get to know yourself and figure out what you want in a partner. A study by psychologist Susan Sprecher from Cleveland State University shows that people who take time to work on their personal growth before entering a relationship tend to experience more satisfying and lasting relationships. These individuals, who aren't in a rush to find love, are clearer about what they seek in a partner and develop stronger self-esteem. Life isn't a race, and love isn't either. You can spend hours searching for a shooting star and see nothing, but when it finally appears, you'll realize it was worth the wait. When love comes into your life, It will be a result of all the time you spent nurturing yourself. When two people who have cultivated their personal gardens meet, the beauty is indescribable. Remember, love isn't about completing someone or being completed. It's about sharing your fullness. So don't rush. True love isn't something you chase. It finds you when you're ready. Finally, let's talk about the value of friendship and mutual support. Have you ever thought about how to make someone miss you? There's no magic trick, but there is something often overlooked: the importance of friendship and mutual support. In a world where relationships seem fleeting, a strong foundation of friendship can be the key to building lasting, meaningful connections. Often we focus too much on passion, chemistry, and the fireworks that occur at the start of a relationship. But what happens when that initial spark fades? This is where friendship becomes essential. A deep, authentic friendship doesn't just keep the flame alive. It provides the support necessary for any relationship to thrive. Imagine your relationship as a house of cards. The passion and attraction are like the delicate cards placed on top, fragile and vulnerable to the smallest disruption. On the other hand, friendship and mutual support form the solid foundation of the structure, much like the sturdy base of a house of cards. Without this strong base, the entire structure would collapse at the slightest gust of wind. From the very beginning, I promised to provide you with a series of infallible recommendations. Pay close attention to them, and feel free to revisit this video as many times as you deem necessary. Now let's talk about how to build a solid friendship that will make someone miss you and desire your presence even more. Here are a few simple yet effective steps you can follow. First, become a good listener. While we all enjoy talking, listening is an art in itself. Show genuine interest in what the other person has to say and pay close attention to their words. It's in the little details that we demonstrate our care for others, and this helps to create a deeper and stronger bond. Second, share your interests and passions. Stoic philosophy teaches us that true contentment comes from within and not from depending on others for our happiness. Share the hobbies, books, and movies that inspire you. Doing so helps create common ground and fosters a sense of connection and understanding. Third, provide support in difficult times. Life isn't always smooth sailing, and when someone faces hardships, being there for them in their darkest moments creates a unique bond. It is during these challenging times that the strength of your relationship will truly be tested. Fourth, be authentic. Never try to be someone you're not. Authenticity is not only attractive, but it also builds a foundation of trust. By being true to yourself, you open the door to finding someone who values and loves you for who you really are. This idea is not just based on common sense. Research supports the importance of authenticity and friendship in relationships. Studies conducted by John Gottman, a renowned psychologist and relationship expert, reveal that couples who prioritize and value friendship in their relationships experience greater happiness and have marriages that last longer. In fact, Gottman found that 70% of marital satisfaction can be attributed to the quality of the friendship between partners. This reinforces the notion that a solid foundation of friendship not only strengthens the relationship, but also increases the chances that both partners will miss each other and desire each other more. A relationship grounded in friendship and mutual support is like a fine wine. It only gets better with time. Passion and chemistry may ignite at the beginning of a relationship, but it is the strength of the friendship that will keep it enduring and strong. So, if you want someone to miss you and want you, Focus on building a deep and meaningful friendship and be a constant source of support for them. Life can be complicated and chaotic, but with a solid foundation of friendship, any relationship can withstand the storms. Remember, it's not about being the most attractive or charming person in the room, but about being the friend and companion that everyone would want to have. True friendship and mutual support are not obligations. They arise from the genuine pleasure of being there for one another. Next time you wonder how to make someone miss you, remember that the key may lie in the strength of the friendship and mutual support you offer. So, take the time to build your house of cards with a solid foundation, and you'll enjoy a lasting and fulfilling relationship. If you found this lesson valuable, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. We often go out of our way for the people we care about, sacrificing time, energy, and emotions just to show them how much they mean to us. We worry about them, support them, and sometimes give too much of ourselves. But unfortunately, there are moments when our kindness is taken for granted. Some people manipulate our good nature, pretending to be genuine while only looking out for their own interests. They appear kind and friendly when they want something, but once their needs are met, they vanish like a bird soaring off into the sky, leaving us behind, confused and hurt. So how do we take back our power after experiencing situations like these? That's what we're exploring today. We'll uncover 9 vital truths about the complex dynamics between men and women, grounded in the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These principles have withstood centuries, guiding countless individuals toward clarity and inner strength. By consciously avoiding these 9 behaviors, you'll start to see noticeable improvements in your relationships. Even more importantly, you'll find a renewed sense of personal empowerment. If you're going through a difficult phase in your relationship, now is the time to pause, clear your mind, and take this transformative journey with us. Let's begin with the idea of changing your life to fit someone else's. Picture trying to complete a puzzle where none of the pieces seem to belong together. It's frustrating and confusing. That's exactly what it feels like when you alter yourself to meet the expectations of others. As Seneca put it, everywhere means nowhere. When you're constantly trying to be everything to everyone, you end up feeling lost, disconnected, and unsure of your path. Rather than blending into the background like a chameleon, embrace the boldness of being a shining star in the night sky. Own your individuality. Be proud of what sets you apart. Don't let others dictate the direction of your life. It's time to reclaim control and walk confidently in your own direction. Remember, your life is your own unique narrative, not a copy of someone else's. Let your authenticity be your light, and paint the world with your true essence and purpose. Next, don't let your world revolve entirely around one person. Obsessing over someone else can make you feel like a satellite stuck in orbit, always circling but never grounded. When your focus is consumed by another's life, you begin to lose sight of your own dreams and the qualities that make you who you are. Instead of feeding your ambitions, you end up attending to someone else's needs while neglecting your own desire for fulfillment. As the wise Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul." When you immerse yourself too deeply in another person's life, you lose balance. You slip into the background, diminishing your self-worth. Break free from that gravitational pull. Stop orbiting their world. Don't let anyone compromise your mental well-being or steal your happiness. You are not a side character in someone else's script. You are the star of your own journey. Never forget that, and never allow anyone to dim your inner light. Equally important is this: Don't sacrifice your mental health for someone else's happiness. Prioritizing another person's needs over your emotional well-being is like handing over your flashlight in the middle of a dark forest. You're left stumbling, confused, and alone. When you constantly put their happiness above your own, you're surrendering control of your inner peace. Instead of finding contentment, you end up caught in a cycle of self-neglect, always trying to please them while your own soul grows weary. It's vital to step back and reclaim ownership of your life. Your happiness and mental well-being are priceless, and they should never be handed over in exchange for fleeting moments of approval. You deserve to be the main character in your life story. Protect your inner sanctuary with unwavering resolve. Build resilience, and don't allow anyone to rob you of your joy. Your mind is yours alone, and only you have the power to shape your destiny. Another mistake we often make is distancing ourselves from friends and family for the sake of one person. Abandoning your support system because you're infatuated with someone else is like cutting the very branches that hold up your tree. Friends and family are those branches. They've been there through your struggles and victories. When you push them away, you're not just losing people, you're weakening the very foundation that supports you. As Plato wisely said, people can either help you grow and thrive or hinder your development and cause you to wither. Isolating yourself makes your journey much harder than it needs to be. Take the initiative to reconnect with those who truly care. These relationships are irreplaceable. They form a network of strength that anchors you. Embrace those who stood by you through both storms and sunshine. They are the ones who nourish your soul and help you stand tall. Lastly, don't pour all your precious time into someone who doesn't value it. Investing every waking moment into another person's endless demands is like throwing your most valuable resource, time, into a bottomless pit. Every second you devote excessively is a piece of your life that you can never get back. Time is your most limited and sacred gift. If you give it away carelessly, especially to someone who doesn't reciprocate or appreciate it, you end up empty, depleted, and drained. Instead of building something meaningful, you find yourself stuck in a loop of emotional exhaustion. Remember that your time is not just a clock ticking, it's the essence of your life. Spend it wisely. Give it to those who uplift you, who value your presence, and who contribute to your growth. Don't waste your hours chasing approval or affection from those who vanish once their needs are met. Your time is your power. Guard it, cherish it, and use it to build the life you truly deserve. When you devote yourself excessively to someone or something, you're surrendering a part of your life that you can never retrieve. Time is constantly slipping away. Don't squander it. Time is your most precious possession, not an infinite currency that can be exchanged on demand. As the wise Seneca once observed, the problem isn't that life is too short, but that we waste much of it. By handing all your time to another person, you're giving away the most vibrant and meaningful moments of your existence. Remember, your time is solely yours. It does not belong to anyone else. Don't allow your entire life to revolve around others. Seek balance. Invest your time with care. Treat it like a rare treasure and pour it into efforts that ignite your passion, that nurture your personal growth, and that bring you genuine satisfaction. Always remember, you are the one who holds authority over your own time. Do not let it be wasted on someone who may never truly understand or value its worth. There is no need to reveal every detail of your past, especially the painful parts. Sharing your complete past with someone is like opening up the deepest chambers of your heart and soul. It means exposing every hidden struggle and challenge that helped shape who you are today. These intimate and difficult experiences are a sacred part of your personal journey. They are the trials that you alone have endured and conquered. You don't owe it to anyone to lay them all bare. Revealing everything could invite judgment or turn those moments into casual entertainment for others. Doing so not only makes you vulnerable to emotional harm, but also risks exploitation. Protect your story. Guard it. Only share what is necessary and meaningful. Preserve the essential pieces of your narrative with the same care you would give to a fragile treasure. This act of protection is what empowers you and reinforces your strength. Do not hand over your defenses to someone who might misuse them. Be wise and intentional about who you entrust with your life's history. It is yours alone. It's not meant to be offered up just to satisfy someone's fleeting curiosity. Your story deserves more reverence than that. Don't compromise yourself just to satisfy others. Agreeing to do things that don't resonate with you is a quiet betrayal of your own joy. It's like trading the passions that once lit up your soul for tasks or interests that leave you feeling empty. Marcus Aurelius once said that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. When you are pushed to act in ways that oppose your authentic desires, it's natural to feel an unsettling discontent, as if you are drifting further and further from your true path. But it doesn't have to be this way. It's time to break free from the endless cycle of pleasing others. Instead of always saying yes, embrace the power and clarity that comes with saying no. Reclaim ownership of your time and your decisions. Life is not a performance where you must constantly earn the approval of others. It's about being real, about choosing authenticity. Stay true to who you are, even when it feels hard. Listen to your inner voice. If something feels off, have the courage to walk away. Your life is your own to shape. It is not just a background story in someone else's drama. You are the main character, the hero of your own tale. Now is the time to step into that role fully and live by your own values, on your own terms. Do not allow fear of being alone to dictate your choices. When you make decisions out of fear, especially the fear of loneliness, it's like navigating through darkness without a guiding light. Fear, when left unchecked, can lead you down roads you were never meant to travel. But remember, being alone is not the same as being lonely. As Aristotle wisely pointed out, understanding yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Use your time alone as an opportunity to go deeper into your soul. Embrace your unique identity. Spend quality time with yourself. Learn to enjoy your own presence. Discover the inner riches that lie within you. The more connected you become with yourself, the more prepared you are for meaningful relationships. When you finally choose to share your life with someone, it won't be out of desperation. It will be because that person complements your joy and enhances your existence. Value yourself. Don't fall into the trap of letting fear rule your life. The journey of self-discovery must be lit by the flame of courage. Let that courage guide you toward a life filled with fulfillment and real, heartfelt connections. Don't forget to pause and celebrate the small victories. In the chaos of life, while trying to meet expectations and please others, we often overlook our own growth. Yet every step forward, no matter how tiny it may seem, deserves to be acknowledged. Picture your life as a long journey. With each step, you're getting closer to your dreams. Think about all the small triumphs along the way. They are like markers, proof of your strength, your resilience, and your determination. Epictetus wisely said to never rely on the admiration of others. So take a moment to acknowledge your own progress. Celebrate what you've achieved, no matter how insignificant it might appear to others. Appreciate the late nights, the hard work, the doubts you've conquered. Every single success, big or small, is a testament to your endurance and your growth. Embrace them, cherish them. Let these quiet victories remind you of how far you've come and how strong you truly are. It is not solely about reaching a final destination. It is about embracing every bend in the road, every success, and every stumble along the way. Let us raise a toast to the path we are on, finding joy not just in the outcomes, but in the moments, the lessons, and the beauty of the process itself. As we draw this part of our journey to a close today, take a moment to reflect on the incredible power that lies in your choices and the unmatched beauty of accepting and embodying your true self. You carry within you the strength and the wisdom to make decisions that align with your deepest truths, even when they diverge from what others expect of you. As life unfolds with its unpredictable twists and turns, keep your focus on cultivating inner virtues, wisdom to see clearly, courage to act rightly, justice to treat others fairly, and self-control to remain grounded. These are not mere ideals. They are the foundation of a life rich with purpose and fulfillment, far more rewarding than a life spent chasing outside approval. Always remember, you are free to shape your own path. Celebrate your individuality and write a life story that is rooted in your own principles and beliefs. There is no need to compromise your integrity or sacrifice your well-being for the sake of pleasing others. You have the ability and the right to take the reins of your life, to make choices that reflect the truth of who you are. The Stoics taught us that real freedom comes from within, from knowing that while we cannot control everything, we do control our thoughts and actions. So when you feel pressured to fit into someone else's mold, to surrender your time, or to reveal more of yourself than you're comfortable with, remember that you have the right to choose a different path. You are under no obligation to live according to someone else's expectations. You have the right and the responsibility to carve out a path that reflects what truly matters to you. Now is the moment to shift direction. Choose to change. Commit to letting go of the habits and patterns that no longer serve you. Focus your energy on becoming the highest version of yourself, no matter what obstacles lie ahead. And if today's reflection has spoken to your soul, consider expressing your appreciation. Imagine facing immense challenges and adversities only to emerge stronger and wiser on the other side. What if you could tap into an ancient source of wisdom to guide you through life's trials today? Let's explore the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, a great Roman emperor and philosopher, and discover how his timeless wisdom can help us build resilience and inner strength when faced with adversity. Marcus Aurelius, despite being one of the most powerful men of his time, encountered countless struggles, from political upheavals to personal losses. Amid these challenges, he wrote his deeply introspective and insightful book, Meditations, as a way of self-improvement and reflection. His personal thoughts have inspired countless people over the centuries, providing guidance on how to live a virtuous and fulfilling life. In today's fast-paced and uncertain world, resilience and inner strength are more essential than ever. We are constantly faced with changes in our careers, relationships, and personal lives. What if we could learn to navigate these changes with grace and wisdom, turning adversity into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery? This is where Marcus Aurelius's Meditations can help. As a philosopher and historical figure, he emphasized the importance of cultivating inner virtues and practicing self-control. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can overcome external circumstances and maintain balance and serenity. In essence, Stoicism teaches us to be the architects of our own happiness and well-being, no matter the challenges we face. In this video, we'll dive into 10 timeless life lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will help us build resilience and inner strength. These lessons offer practical advice for dealing with difficult situations and will inspire us to develop a more resilient mindset in daily life. By applying his wisdom, we can become better equipped to deal with adversity, grow from our experiences, and ultimately live a more fulfilling life. As we journey through these lessons, we'll explore the importance of controlling our thoughts and perceptions, accepting what we cannot change, focusing on the present moment, cultivating humility and empathy, and much more. Whether you're facing personal or professional setbacks or seeking guidance on living a more balanced life, Marcus Aurelius's teachings can serve as a powerful source of wisdom and inspiration. Lesson 1. Control your perception. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Our perception of the world shapes our reality, influencing how we react to situations, interact with others, and ultimately feel about ourselves. By recognizing that our reactions are based on our perspectives, we can let go of the urge to control what's beyond our reach. A useful technique for cultivating this mindset is detachment. Detachment involves recognizing the impermanent nature of life, understanding that everything is subject to change. By embracing this, we can develop a more balanced perspective and learn to flow with life's natural changes. When faced with a challenge, remind yourself that this too shall pass, and approach the situation with an open heart and mind. Meditation can also help promote acceptance. Setting aside time each day to calm your mind and observe your thoughts and emotions helps you develop a better understanding of your reactions. This increased self-awareness allows you to more easily recognize when you're struggling to accept what can't be changed and adopt a more receptive mindset. Learning to accept the things we cannot change is essential for building resilience and inner strength. By practicing awareness, detachment, and meditation, we can cultivate a more balanced approach to life's challenges. This mindset not only helps us face adversity with grace, but also allows us to appreciate life's beauty and richness. Marcus Aurelius beautifully captures this philosophy. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. His emphasis on living in the present moment reminds us not to be consumed by past regrets or future anxieties. By focusing on the here and now, we can experience life more fully and find peace and contentment. Living in the present moment offers numerous benefits: reduced stress and anxiety, increased self-awareness, and improved mental well-being. When we practice mindfulness, we engage fully with our experiences and emotions without being distracted by worries. This heightened awareness allows us to better understand ourselves and our environment, promoting personal growth and self-discovery. One way to cultivate mindfulness is through meditation. To practice, find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. When thoughts and emotions arise, acknowledge them without judgment and gently return your focus to your breath. Doing this for just 5 minutes a day can significantly improve your well-being. Another effective way to stay present is by incorporating mindful activities into your daily routine. For example, try mindful eating, where you fully savor each bite and pay attention to the flavors and textures of your food, or mindful walking, where you focus on the sensations in your body and the environment around you. By making mindfulness a part of everyday life, you can become more attuned to the present moment and develop a deeper awareness of your thoughts and emotions. Consider setting aside time each day for reflection. Writing in a journal is a great way to process your experiences and emotions, helping you stay present and recognize patterns in your thoughts and behaviors. This practice can provide valuable insights, helping you make more conscious choices moving forward. Lesson 4. Cultivate humility and empathy. Before you criticize someone, ask yourself, which of my own faults most resemble what I'm about to criticize? Humility and empathy are essential for building resilience and inner strength. These virtues help us develop stronger relationships, foster a compassionate mindset, and remind us to reflect on our own imperfections before judging others. By practicing humility, we acknowledge that we are not perfect and that we can learn from others, regardless of their status or background. This attitude makes us more receptive to feedback and personal growth, helping us overcome challenges and adapt more effectively. To practice humility in daily life, focus on listening more and speaking less. Pay attention to others' ideas and opinions and remain open to the possibility that you may be wrong or have something to learn. Be willing to admit mistakes and take responsibility for your actions. This openness can foster personal growth and a more resilient mindset. Empathy involves understanding and connecting with others by putting yourself in their shoes. It enables you to navigate difficult situations and strengthens your relationships, making you more resilient in the face of adversity. To develop empathy, practice active listening. Give others your full attention, strive to understand without judgment, and ask open-ended questions to encourage deeper conversations. Volunteering and engaging in acts of service can also help you build empathy by offering insights into the struggles and emotions of others. Humility and empathy are key to building resilience and inner strength. By practicing active listening, self-reflection, and compassion, we can develop a more empathetic and humble perspective on life. Lesson 5. Practice gratitude. When you wake up in the morning, remember how precious the gift of life is: breathing, thinking, enjoying, and loving. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the power and importance of gratitude. By focusing on our blessings and appreciating the beauty of life, we can cultivate a more positive mindset and build resilience in the face of challenges. Studies show that expressing gratitude regularly leads to increased happiness, better mental health, stronger relationships, and even improved physical health. Grateful people tend to experience lower stress and anxiety levels and are better equipped to handle difficult situations. To integrate gratitude into your daily life, start a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how big or small. This simple practice helps shift your focus from negative thoughts to positive ones, allowing you to recognize the good things that often go unnoticed. Another way to practice gratitude is by expressing appreciation to others. Take time to thank your friends, family, and colleagues for their support and kindness. Acknowledging the value of their contributions not only strengthens your relationships, but also reinforces your sense of gratitude. Also, make a habit of reflecting on your personal growth. Recognize the achievements and challenges you've overcome, and appreciate the lessons learned along the way. By focusing on the journey you've traveled, you can cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for the experiences that have shaped you. Paying attention to the present moment also plays a crucial role in developing gratitude. Notice small joys and pleasures, like the warmth of the sun or the laughter of a loved one, and savor these moments. Practicing gratitude in this way helps you appreciate life's simple gifts, enhancing your overall well-being and building resilience. Lesson 6. Embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In this powerful lesson, Marcus Aurelius teaches us to see adversity not as an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity for personal growth and self-development. By shifting our perspective on challenges and setbacks, we can cultivate greater resilience and inner strength, allowing us to embrace the growth that adversity offers. Challenges provide avenues for personal growth in various ways, such as helping us build new skills, gain valuable experience, and learn more about ourselves and our abilities. Overcoming adversity can also boost our self-confidence as we recognize our capability to face difficult situations and emerge stronger. To reframe adversity as a growth opportunity, start by adopting a growth mindset. The belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. When confronted with a challenge, ask yourself what skills or knowledge you can gain from the experience and how it can help you become a better, more capable person. Another helpful technique is to practice reframing negative thoughts. When facing a difficult situation, try to identify the negative thoughts that arise and consciously transform them into positive, empowering statements. For example, if you think, "I'll never be able to handle this," reframe it as, "This is a challenging situation, but I can learn and grow from it." You can also draw inspiration from the lives of others who have overcome adversity. Research famous figures, read biographies, or listen to podcasts about individuals who faced significant challenges and turned them into stepping stones for success. These examples serve as powerful reminders of the growth potential present in every obstacle. Lastly, consider seeking support from friends, family, or professionals when facing adversity. Surrounding yourself with a support network can offer valuable encouragement, advice, and fresh perspectives, helping you see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable barriers. Embracing adversity as a growth opportunity is key to building resilience and inner strength. By adopting a growth mindset, reframing negative thoughts, seeking inspiration, and relying on support from others, we can view challenges as chances to learn, grow, and become better versions of ourselves. Lesson 7. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius emphasizes the vital role that rational thinking plays in our happiness and our ability to overcome adversity. By guiding our thoughts and actions with reason, we can make more informed decisions, manage our emotions better, and face challenges with greater clarity and resilience. Rational thinking helps us assess situations objectively, identify potential solutions, and weigh the pros and cons of each option. By approaching challenges logically, we can minimize the influence of impulsive emotions such as fear or anger, which often cloud our judgment and lead to poor decisions. To develop rational thinking, practice critical thinking skills. This involves questioning assumptions, evaluating evidence, and considering alternative viewpoints. When faced with a difficult situation, step back and ask yourself what assumptions you might be making, whether there's enough evidence to support your beliefs, and if there are alternative solutions you may have overlooked. Another way to cultivate rational thinking is through regular self-reflection. By periodically examining our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, we can gain a deeper understanding of our motivations, biases, and thinking patterns. This self-awareness helps us recognize when our thoughts might be influenced by emotions or false assumptions, allowing us to shift toward a more logical approach. It's also essential to practice emotional regulation, as strong emotions can interfere with rational thinking. Techniques such as mindfulness meditation and deep breathing exercises can help manage emotions more effectively, creating the mental space needed for clear and logical thinking. Lastly, seek opportunities to enhance your problem-solving skills. Engage in activities that challenge your mind, like solving puzzles, playing strategy games, or participating in debates. These experiences can strengthen your logical thinking abilities and improve your capacity to face adversity with reason and clarity. Guided by reason, we can approach life's challenges with greater clarity and success. By practicing critical thinking, engaging in self-reflection, managing emotions, and honing problem-solving skills, we can develop a rational mindset that supports our resilience and growth. Lesson 8. Cultivating inner peace. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the quality of our thoughts greatly affects our emotional state and inner peace. Cultivating inner peace is essential for building resilience and maintaining emotional balance, as it helps us face challenges more effectively while preserving a sense of calm. Inner peace is important for several reasons. First, it enables us to manage stress and anxiety more effectively. When we are at peace with ourselves, we can handle life's pressures and uncertainties with greater ease. This emotional equilibrium helps prevent burnout, reduces the risk of mental health issues, and promotes overall well-being. Second, inner peace allows us to think more clearly and make better decisions. When our minds are not clouded by emotional turmoil, we can approach challenges with greater clarity and focus. This enables us to develop more effective solutions and strategies. One way to cultivate inner peace is by engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation, such as spending time in nature, dedicating yourself to hobbies, or connecting with loved ones. Prioritizing self-care and participating in soul-nourishing activities can help replenish your emotional reserves, promoting a sense of balance and tranquility. It's also crucial to develop healthy ways to deal with stress and negative emotions. This might include practicing deep breathing exercises or engaging in physical activities like yoga or hiking. These techniques can help redirect your attention and restore emotional equilibrium. Additionally, adopting a regular gratitude practice can promote inner peace. By focusing on the positive aspects of your life and expressing gratitude for your blessings, you can cultivate a more optimistic perspective. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Consider yourself strong, as many people give up along the way. Leave a comment saying, "I am a new person," to show your strength and determination. Now that you've made it this far, you're definitely going to stay until the end. Lesson 9. Embrace what is spiritually superior, regardless of what others think or do. In this lesson, Marcus Aurelius urges us to detach from external events and circumstances, focusing instead on our internal values and spiritual growth. By not seeking validation or satisfaction from external sources, we can develop greater resilience and inner strength. The benefits of detachment are numerous. It helps maintain emotional stability in the face of adversity, prevents excessive attachment to outcomes, possessions, or others' opinions, and reduces stress, anxiety, and disappointment. To cultivate detachment in everyday life, start by becoming more aware of your thoughts and reactions to external events. Observe your emotions and thoughts without clinging to them. This increased self-awareness helps you recognize when you're overly invested in external circumstances and allows you to consciously redirect your focus inward. Another way to practice detachment is by regularly reminding yourself of life's impermanence. Acknowledge that possessions, relationships, and circumstances change, and that seeking lasting happiness from these external sources is ultimately futile. Instead, focus on finding contentment and inner fulfillment through personal growth, values, and spirituality. Developing a strong sense of identity and knowing your core values also helps cultivate detachment. When you have a clear understanding of what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to let go of external factors that don't align with your values. Take time to reflect on your core beliefs and let them guide your decisions and actions. Engage in regular spiritual or reflective practices such as meditation, journaling, or prayer. These practices deepen your connection with your inner self, foster detachment from external influences, and encourage a greater focus on personal growth and spiritual development. Practicing detachment from external events and circumstances is a powerful tool for building resilience and inner strength. By cultivating mindfulness, embracing impermanence, understanding your values, and engaging in spiritual practices, you can face life's challenges with greater grace and equanimity. Lesson 10. Appreciate what you have rather than long for what you don't. In this final lesson, Marcus Aurelius highlights the importance of perseverance and maintaining momentum in the face of adversity. By focusing on the blessings we already possess and nurturing a growth mindset, we can continue to evolve even through challenges. Perseverance is key to overcoming adversity, as it allows us to push through obstacles, learn from setbacks, and keep moving forward toward our goals, building resilience and inner strength along the way. To stay motivated and maintain a growth mindset, begin by setting clear, achievable goals that align with your values and passions. Having a clear vision of what you want to achieve will help you stay focused and motivated, even in the face of obstacles. Break down your goals into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate your progress as you go. Another way to maintain motivation is by practicing self-compassion. Recognize that setbacks and challenges are natural parts of life, and treat yourself with kindness when facing difficulties. By cultivating self-compassion, you can maintain a positive attitude and keep moving forward, even when things are tough. Surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals can also help keep you motivated. Seek out friends, mentors, or support groups who share your values and goals, and draw inspiration from their successes and experiences. Set aside regular time to reflect on your progress, recognizing the obstacles you've overcome, the skills you've gained, and the growth you've achieved along the way. Maintaining perseverance and momentum is essential for overcoming adversity and building resilience. By practicing self-compassion, surrounding yourself with supportive individuals, and reflecting on your progress, you can sustain your motivation and keep moving forward, no matter what challenges life presents. We've just explored 10 powerful life lessons from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations that can help us build resilience and inner strength. These lessons offer insights on how to manage our perceptions, accept what we cannot change, focus on the present, develop humility and empathy, practice gratitude, embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, be guided by reason, cultivate inner peace, practice detachment, and maintain constant momentum. By integrating these timeless teachings into our daily lives, we can foster personal growth, overcome adversity, and live more meaningful and purpose-driven lives. It's important to remember that building resilience and inner strength is a lifelong journey. Applying these lessons takes time, practice, and dedication. As you continue to face challenges, turn to the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius and strive to live according to the principles he expressed. Doing so will not only make you more resilient and resourceful in difficult times, but also help you discover a deeper sense of inner peace, purpose, and fulfillment. As we conclude, I encourage you to reflect on these 10 lessons and think about how you can apply them to your own journey of personal growth and self-discovery. Remember, Marcus Aurelius's wisdom is a timeless guide that can help you navigate life's challenges with grace, wisdom, and resilience. If you've made it this far, be sure to comment the phrase, "I am a new person," so I know this video has made a positive impact on your life. Thank you, and until next time.